The pale green that rests subtly below the skin is the mark of the Guardian, the most attributed to abjuration. Those with this mark define themselves as indomitably protective. Strength of body and mind are of the utmost importance. They can be steadfast and unbending but stubborn, short-sighted and due to their strict adherence, unimaginative. An uncommon bond, as the green mark requires a degree of selflessness that is rare in people nowadays, no less in Amaranth, the city of ambition. Guardians are seen as selfless heroes and martyrs, stupid and pig-headed fools who will die for the dreams of another. Green trusts green above all else, and gets along with red, silver, opal, and purple, but distrusts the scheming nature of gold and black bound. Take off glasses. Flutter. Welcome to the Dragonleaf, the tea house where tales are told. If you like the content, place glasses back on face, despite the fact that you never needed them in the first place. Leave a like in the tip jar and subscribe to our weekly tales. Leave a comment in the suggestion box and tell us how well we did or how well we did not flourish. Thanks for listening. And without further ado, it's time to open up shop, press button. There they are.
I feel so uncomfortable.
That was my favorite. That was my favorite so far.
I almost died eating my ice cream sandwiches. How dare you?
I still my goal to get you to slam your keyboard with some kind of food element is still ongoing. One day.
It'll never happen.
Soon.
My keyboard's
Holy
too far
shit.
away.
Oh no.
The flourish
My
got
dreams.
me so good.
Last time, the Deviants finished checking out Mistra's basement and found, that sounded more sexual than I expected, and found additional information about the mining town of Ironhall and Jojo's mother, Rowena,
Why?
who is in Ironhall on an extended mission to renew the flow of goods through the city. Afterwards, they met with Morrigan, Jaeger, and Talana, where they attempted to decipher the Tome of Zemayatel. And finding no additional insight towards the cult activity in Amaranth, the family and Jaeger are let in on an aspect of Vincent's past, a mining colony named in Endgorn, engaging in child trafficking. Jaeger and Talana leave the home to return to Eldas Grove after Jaeger is filled in on some information and offered stern warnings from Vincent about improper activity or jumping the gun. As we jump back in, Morrigan turns towards the party and begins pining a little bit. She says, okay, so that didn't lead anywhere, but I can still tell that this book is important. I know it's the crux of this. I'm going to meet with my patron. I'm going to entreat its aid and see if I can't. Maybe it'll listen. We need some kind of a lead. I'm going to keep going in the city as well and try and find anything I can in regards to this activity. Maybe I can get them to try and burn my house down again. And then capture them. I'll let people know that I'm renting a house somewhere in the city.
Okay. We have the same patron, right?
No.
No?
No.
Oh.
No, I don't think so. Maybe.
You know,
I-
there's a bakery in the deanery that has a little basement suite that Falco moved out of. Basement suite meaning just like a hovel under the. I would really like if that bakery got burned down. Really is what I'm trying to say.
All right. I think I can manage that.
I tell her the name, which I don't think the character ever found out.
I believe it was the Sun Road Bakery.
Yes.
Just off the Sun Road itself.
Before it burns down, steal some of the bread in the back. Always keep it in there.
Well, I don't know if I want to be there when it begins to burn down. Actually, I will have to be there. Let's hope we can. So, the plan was to actually lure them in and not have the building burn down.
Oh, well, that's great too. Paco wouldn't want it to burn down.
She waits to see if she hears any lizard voices around her, and she's like, "Well, tell you what, I'll flip a coin.
If
See
it
whether or not
happens,
this
it
burns
happens,
down.
you know.
If it happens, it happens. Sometimes these things happen."
Trinity.
She takes a coin, flips it, lands in her hand, turns it, heads. What do you know? She turns and begins to make her way back towards the door and says,
Morgan?
Yes, that's what I was waiting for.
You were waiting for my lovely voice, dear. Of course you were.
Well, anyone typically, if you go to leave, that's when the important information comes out. I found this. Matilda, write that down.
No, because it's not true.
Okay.
He'll point to. He's actually moved away from the piano now and has gone to sit down where Jojo and Jaeger were, and he'll take a seat and he'll point to the one across from him. Sit for a quick second. I have a conversation.
Jojo stands up and moves.
I figured you moved because Jaeger got up and left.
Sure.
And yeah, he'll just sit down next to the fire. I can be quite useful in information gathering. If you would like me to look into it, I could for you, dear. I would just need compensation, of course.
What are you looking for?
What are you willing to offer? Monetary is always, on the table, but it can always be a little boring.
Well, the going rate for some of the informants that we have in our home is about 20 gold, and that's for a few days and looking around, and then beyond that, really is negotiable. I'm down to put 50 down and see where we get in a week or two.
Well, if you want to go the boring route, I guess that's fine. But do keep in mind our offer from before. This goes well, it could be a reason for you to switch sides. Well, because we obviously will do a better job than your dear little family over there.
I'm not going to ignore everything that's been happening and everything you're all doing for me. I can't say it's impossible. Put me down as a maybe.
Everyone's a maybe.
I found that.
Vincent will stand up and reach his hand out for her to shake it.
You're not a ghost, though, are you? Just, you have to tell me if you are. That's not a rule, but...
He'll hold his hand out and lean down. Care to find out, dear?
No. Well, yes, but...
He doesn't say it intimidatingly. He's just saying, like, if you touch me, you can see if I'm a ghost or not, kind of. That's what
she takes your hand, yeah.
He'll shake it. No, I'm quite solid, dear. He'll give her a little wink.
Ha!
And Vincent will stand up. I agree to your compensation through monetary for right now, and I'll see what I can get into.
Depending on how much you charge for this information, maybe a magic item from the family home might be possible. I might be able to pull one from the vaults. Because I don't have very much gold, unfortunately. Just being forthright with you there, but it's not off the table. She looks back towards everyone, gives a nod, and says, "Thank you for letting me be here for this, and I'll touch base again shortly." And she heads out.
Bye. I'm an old man.
Bye.
Jojo, I can't say. I will say you have looked better, but at least do you feel fine? At least.
Yeah, I feel fine.
Maybe try to. I don't know how this will do with Amir this afternoon, but yeah, I guess we'll see how this goes. You won't be quite as intimidating, or maybe you will. I don't know.
I don't know. I'll just hang around, I guess. Be an old man.
Speaking of which, did dear old Lavos, did he leave? Or is he still in the manor somewhere? I can't remember
think he
if he said
went
he stepped
somewhere.
out.
Lavos is around, as you assume.
He'll kind of like walk up the stairs or kind of look around a bit, see if he can track him down.
See in his study.
You bring yourself to the second floor study where you find Lavos kind of looking over today's newspaper and a few that are kind of set off to the side from the last few days, and he's scouring it for any information.
Lavos,
Vincent.
we we hit a minor stag. It's not really a big issue, at least not for me. But dear little family member, Jojo seems to be under the effects of such a horrible curse right now. Do
Hi.
you care to look into this?
Sure. Where's Jojo?
Jojo just comes up from behind. Vincent's like,
He'll step out of the way.
He stands and gives a bow, and he's like, "Hello, good sir. How are you? Here, come sit down." Sits you
thanks.
down.
Yeah.
No problem at all. Can I get you anything? Lemon tea.
Yeah,
Herbal.
that sounds nice.
All right, very well. Just wait right here. Vincent and I are
Maybe
going to go find Jojo, and then we'll be right back.
Maybe some
Okay.
fiber. They're old.
He
Yeah, give her
leaves.
some fiber. Jojo's just there
Is,
reading Jojo's there reading the notes that Matilda had taken on that runic like slab in Mister's shack.
He leaves the room, and he comes, Vincent, as you leave with him, he closes the door, and he gets about 10, 15 feet down the hallway, as he's like, come on. Makes it, like, just outside of range of the door, and he's like, yeah, she's right fucking cursed.
Well, I'm glad you're a little more perceptive than I was envisioning you going down that route. So this is better this way. Any reason why we're doing this facade? Just for shits and giggles, or do you have a point?
It's not an easy curse to break. I've heard of this before. It's something to do with a higher floor in the dungeon. I've actually, in my travels before looking for family members, I've seen that exact fucking old man in a few different places. Lathander's home. I've seen one in the north, in Basker's house. There's been a few different locations.
Well, what is required to break it, dear?
Well, first you need to be in the dungeon, and you need to get to a little bit of a higher floor than we've been able to get to. There's an item on the 10th floor that allows you to undo this. But actually, let me think about this. You got I'm gonna look into this.
I was just going to say, if it's an item on the 10th floor, I'd hate for her to be stuck like this for so long. But you don't think someone would have brought it down and exited the dungeon with it, do you think? Could be in the city.
It's pretty likely, I think. That's the interest. I want to check into this. Something to do with a bell. I'm trying to recall something like the chime of a bell within the dungeon's heart, I think it was.
Well, those other people and then Lathanders and their family, if they might have it. So I guess do your business, and we'll see if we can get through this without too much difficulty.
Right, you are. All right, I'll tell you one thing. Let me know when you want to go meet with Amir.
We're doing it this afternoon, dear.
I know. Just let me know when you're heading out. I want to make sure that I'm prepared.
It should be shortly, actually. It's almost near noon, so our study group went well. And in case you were curious, did you know who Jaeger was?
I sent something off about him, but I'm just going to let you know right now. Anything happens in this house, I'm pretty privy to it. So I did hear you lot. I was just doing a bit of light reading at the same time. So I don't think it's necessarily anything bad. In fact, I think he's pretty valuable, but also a good lad. So,
And I know it's somewhat cryptic and flashes and images, but you know about my past. So speaking about it down there, I wouldn't worry about it too much, dear. It's in the past.
Oh, I know you're perfectly capable, Vincent. But know that we're there to help you if you ever want to take a few steps forward.
I'll definitely call if I need it.
All right, I'll go make some tea, and then when we get back to JoJo, let's pretend like she's an old man, so that we can trick her. No,
I already know that she is JoJo.
That's right. All right, well, I'll tell you what, this will save some time. And he goes in, he opens the door, and he's like, Vincent just told me what's going on. JoJo, you were an old man. That's a surprise to me.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew all along. I'm sorry. And he sits down.
Like the worst insight, his passive insight. Vincent just rolls his eyes. It's not even trying.
He's incapable of lying as far as you can tell.
Jaeger said he might be able to break it in the morning, but
Yeah, actually, it's probably not going to work. Worst case scenario, Jaeger might be able to take the thing off of you. It's still going to be cursed. If you want that item to be able to be used for its full intent, you're going to need something a little bit more.
well, that's a start at least.
Yeah, it's not... I'm looking into the way that I might be able to help you out. It depends on Jaeger. He's a demigod, so pretty helpful.
Yep.
Now, everyone get ready. We're going on the mission.
Okay. It makes it show getting hard, difficult to get out of the chair.
Oh, yeah. No, here, let me help you up.
Is Parker still in the vicinity, or did he leave with the kids to go for a walk?
Parker went down to the river back of the house and has returned a few times. He might be in the middle of walking back to the river again. You can probably catch him.
Go to into like here. Like he'll go up to... We're in the study. Oh, we're on the top floor. So we're like here, right?
Yeah.
Vincent will walk out to the room and go over to this window right here. And he'll just look out the back and... Parker?
Is there like sitting on the deck right now, feet just kind of swaying on the open chairs, and the kids are like, so high up, so high up, so high up, so high up. And Parker places them on the ground. They're just like, up, 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 up. And it's just basically this. And then he's like, yeah.
We're gonna head out soon. I think the lizards need to stay here. Do you want to come with? It's important family business. I wouldn't want to exclude you.
Oh, yeah, I'm coming. I'm part of the family. Little guys, go inside.
They're like, yay, inside. They just run in.
Good kids. Okay, I'm gonna get my backpack and then I'm gonna meet you out front.
Thank you, dear. And then the last thing Vincent will do is go to Mo's room. And is he in there?
Mo is currently in the room. He's still kind of in the corner. You see he's sitting on the ottoman now and his eyes are closed. And then as you enter, he just...
Yes.
Is he attempting to smile for some awkward reason?
No, it's just everything he does is mildly offsetting.
Dear, I have a new assignment for you. You close the door. I need you to go back to Regis, and you'll throw him another bag of 10 gold. This is for him. I need you to gather some information in regards to the player forgets what the cult thingy is called.
Illyrian.
Oh, the Lyrian Order, or do you mean the cult that Matilda is attempting to?
Or Morgan, yeah.
I don't think you guys necessarily have a name, but you could refer to it as the cult of Zemayatel.
Okay, we'll do that. See if he knows anything around Zemayatel and a cult that could be running in regards to that deity or angel of sort.
I picture Vincent giving the image, like a image of the crest.
Yeah, the symbol will work. Actually, can he make like a quick sketch of it just to give, so he can give that to Regis?
Sure, yeah. Takes virtually no time with your proficiency. Also, it's just... So as you hand the crest over, small piece of paper, he folds it up, just places it in the pack, takes the gold and kind of... Basically, that is the size of his backpack. He throws that in as well. And is like,
very well, master. I shall return promptly.
Only get information pertaining to this. Don't spend the gold on anything else.
I also wish to receive a smoothie. I may be able to procure one on my own, but it seems it would be difficult. I have heard of these confectionery treats and would like one. Is it possible I might be allowed to procure one?
Vincent thinks on that. We just make one in the kitchen downstairs.
Probably.
I will have one ready when you get back.
You are too gracious.
He
If-
turns and makes his way.
If you do a good job, I'll know.
It is all but assured.
Then he turns and begins to make his way out.
Can I make any headway on the runes that Matilda had given over to Jojo?
Which one specifically?
The
The
runic
shack.
slab from Mistra's basement.
Oh, you guys took that? Oh, the runes. Right. So go
Yeah.
ahead and you may also roll an Arcana check. You guys only have one opportunity each to attempt to decipher these.
Unless we go get help.
Yeah, like other people and other variables can absolutely attempt as well to do the same. But if you, like, I'm just saying, like, you guys have the opportunity to stack as many bonuses as you can in your attempt to do this.
Okay, no one
Guidance.
else has Arcana, so
Guidance.
would it be guidance?
I was sitting in the room with you while you were looking over the paper. I did not leave while Vincent and Lavos were chatting in the hallway.
Big money? 18.
18? Nothing.
Yeah. Okay.
You're
Damn.
unable to decipher the runic sequence.
That's too bad. Okay.
I wonder, could Lavos do it?
I don't know. Not like a god of magic. Maybe I'll ask my mom about it when we see her again. Well, let's go talk to that assassin.
Okay. Heading out from the area. Bring you back to the Amaranth map. You are now at the family home. Did you guys walk there? Or do I get to gouge you for carriage prices?
It
This
was
is
in
on
the Anvil
Lavos.
district.
This one's on Lavos? Totally good. So that'll be, like, in this distance. Do.
How much is
One
a
silver, 7 copper.
courier? A courier again?
Courier for messages?
Yeah, if I want to send a message to Cisco.
That is 1 silver for a message or 5 for an expedited message.
I'll just do the one. And it'll just be like, mask is cursed. Thought you should know.
Yeah, there's no word limit on that one. It's like a note
No.
on a paper.
It's
That's
just a
all she
message,
writes,
yeah.
though. That's all
You
she
can also
writes.
Okay. You can also send items as well, just for future reference. I don't think you're
Oh,
like,
okay, cool.
anyway, here's, a fucking sick book I wrote. But as you send this message, you basically find yourself on the street corner, find a courier, young lad, pep in his step, and he begins to run off. And as you begin to move into the city, you once again find at the entryway to your fine home, nobody. Nobody is waiting for you. And that's the scary thing. No, you you take a courier. Sorry about that. Just jumping into the carriage and or walking, question mark?
Carriage.
Yeah, carriage.
Carriage? Okay. And you are heading to, remind me
Anvil
again?
district.
Anvil Park.
Lavos is.
Oh, the Anvil Park.
dime.
Right. Sweet. 90 minutes. That'll be 1 silver and 8 copper.
Family fund.
Sure. We take that off of you, Lavos. I'm almost out of fucking copper. What a weird life we lead, am I right? Out of pennies. Weird. As you guys, like, this is the first time you've taken a carriage with Lavos. And as he kind of like sits and just stares out the window, he's just very sullenly looking in towards the dungeon in the center of the city. As he kind of just leans out. Yeah. We'll run this city one day.
Is that what your intentions are, dear?
I suppose in a way. Got to make things right one way or another.
What would you change? What do you consider wrong with it?
Opportunities are skewed. Parker's like, right. People's chance for advancement is limited. Parker's like, I understand. Things need to change. Gods need to realize that they shouldn't be standing at the top, but among those on the ground.
That's going to be a hard sell for some of them, dear.
Yeah, well, hard not to buy it when there's nothing else on the market.
Well, with gods, absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's what the saying goes, so it doesn't make much sense for them to want to hang out with us mortals.
Immortals are among the most interesting thing in the world. Every single time a god has ever looked down on the ground, have they ever looked back? No.
That's
You're
the
too
thing,
fucking
though.
fascinating.
We're interesting things.
You're interesting people. And that's the problem. And you guys arrive at the park. As the carriage opens its doors and Lavos steps out, you find yourself at the Green Guardian's Walk. An open park, a fine little area. You can see lots of sports kind of going on. Sports ball being played in the corner, with many points being scored. A net involved in some way, along with some kind of ball, hence the name. And as you move around, you can see lots of picnics kind of undergone, and Lavos himself has a small picnic basket under his hand. And as you begin to approach at the specified location, right near the statue in the very heart of the park, you see Emir Dillon, who has shown up as herself, standing kind of off to the area. Lavos looks towards you all as you reach a ridiculous distance. He's like 785 feet that way through the trees and around the corner. Emir is standing. I'm going to be waiting right here, all right? I'm going to get a good spot. You're going to see a raven. If I can spot you, you're going to see 2 ravens. And if you need any help, just do this.
Well, I'll make sure not to do some sort of uninvited hand gesture.
Yeah, no
we
peace.
wouldn't want someone's head to blow off.
No
too
peace,
early.
no love. Not right now.
That might be a
2.
bad one to stick with, dear.
You can do this one. This is a different way of saying 2, different cultures. This is less peaceful. We could do that. How do you like that?
I like that. It's sort of like a pew pew.
Like, oh yeah, it's good, right? So you can 2 and then kabang. I like it, yeah.
Yeah.
I like finger guns better.
All right, well, let's just do finger guns then. Horizontal. Make sure we stay at the right angle. And at this point, camera kind of pulls out.
Yeah, Vincent's
and
kind
time
of already
advances a
kind
little
of
bit.
turning around and just ignoring the conversation. And look, he's keeping note of what the signal will be eventually.
Emir stands kind of backed up against a large kind of... It's just an obelisk with no defined shape. You see a small plinth at the base of it. And she's kind of just sitting there leaned up against reading, once again, a newspaper from the early
Is
morning.
this party, Lavos, is the agreement that I am to approach alone, or is she okay with all of us going?
I told her the family would be alongside you. She said that was all right.
Keep your eyes peeled. And Vincent will, kind of lead the way over. He'll have his violin at the ready, but he's not being like overly hostile. He's not holding his components and stuff in his hands and things like that. We'll go
I
up
do
there
love the
pretty
idea
confident.
of a bard's intimidation. I have my violin at the ready if I need it.
And he'll take a copper coin out of his pocket and just start like fiddling with it in his fingers.
As you begin to approach, she closes the newspaper, folds it down, and then looks on towards you, places it under her arm, and begins to walk forward. You look over towards Emir, Vincent, as she stands about 20 feet from you and says, So I heard you, Vincent.
I heard you, Emir.
Yeah, it does seem like you did, didn't you? That's an interesting thing. I like to cut to the chase. I want to help you.
What made you change your heart, dear?
Let's find somewhere we can talk a little bit more openly.
That's
think
just
it'd be a
her
good
to
idea.
lead.
You want to call your friends. Put a dagger on me if you want.
Well, Jojo and Matilda are standing behind Vincent, like probably only a couple feet.
I mean, the rest of them.
This is it, dear.
Roll deception.
Oh, maybe I didn't understand the question. Like, this is the family. Like, who else are we missing here?
Just Lavos.
Dad.
Oh, did Lavos give us a command? Because he gave us a hand sign to be like, shoot her. But was there any other one? Was there one for like, everything's cool, come over, or we need you over here?
I imagine you guys probably went through the ringer for a series of hand signs to just be like, if everything's good, one finger pointed upwards. If everything's bad, one finger pointed downwards. If you need me to move in, like these 3 fingers specifically, but then pointed down. So we'll basically say you guys have a small hand sign language.
He will roll deception regardless, but I was just curious. This is
Okay.
16. Nice.
I'm already putting myself out here. We don't need to lie to each other.
Oh, sorry, dear. Sorry, I don't usually refer to specific individuals as party members and members of the family. They're more like leaders. But I understand. And Vincent will do the hand signal to get Lavos to come over.
He shows up and is like, he's glowering intimidatingly, but you can see he's holding on to like a checkered blanket and a picnic basket.
Is Paka next to him? Who's supposed to come through?
Paka approaches and he's like flicking a coin up and down.
Why?
Just that's what he views as being intimidating.
It's his
Eventually
idol
he stops
animation.
flicking the coin and just stares at it for a second before grabbing it in his hands. Then he just kind of holds his hand up to make sure that she can see that he's holding a coin in it. And then she's like, this way. Paka nods and just begins to move forward with you guys.
Do I get the feeling she's like we're moving into a trap?
Roll
You
insight.
never go to a secondary location. that's all Matilda's like, like this, like I'm gonna follow, but. So insight, yeah?
Yeah. I wonder how far that extends, though. Because you're still at the park. But it is a secondary location, absolutely. 7.
I think all good.
I mean, basically, you just gain no more insight into their motives. So you could be just as suspicious as you were before, but you're still not sure.
Yeah.
Emir goes around the corner and basically finds a small picnic table underneath a gazebo with most of the walls filled in, like a lattice work. Then she looks around.
This'll do.
Yeah. Most of the time, these kinds of conversations are pretty good to have out in the open. Most people aren't expecting it anyway.
Lavos, do you mind putting the picnic blanket down on the table? It might spice things up a bit.
Sure, can do. He just like moves in and unfurls it, flies open, lands down, takes the picnic basket and just slides it across as he fixes it and just it all kind of sets. You see a single bun fall out and land on the side on a small plate that flies underneath the picnic basket. It's like he just begins this small show and then sits down on the other side, grabs that bun, opens it, and just begins to eat half of it. Blows on it and it begins to warm and you can see some steam rise off of it.
Vincent will
Anyway.
have a seat.
She pulls out a small ledger and places it down on the table. She puts it in front of you and she says, so, whole reason I took this job in the first place. She pulls out a small piece of paper from the ledger with a drawing on it. It is a drawing of the amulet that you had taken, that Lavos at current, I believe, still has, or did you get that back from him? Previously, there was an amulet that was brought to you at the very beginning.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to him about it and just never came up in roleplay. We could personally, I think Vincent would have inquired about it sooner, but we just never had time.
Okay, so we'll say that you have the amulet. Whether you have it on you is another matter, but she shows you the picture of the amulet and she says, this was discovered, the Goldwater Trading Company mark, on, well, the remnants of another mission I had to take. No. The whole reason that I chose to undertake this is because the Goldwater family has some kind of a hand in the underground trading of some people. Trafficking. I'm not particularly fond of that. So when I saw you were a part of this, I jumped at the bit. Now, the information I was fed was by a woman by the name of Shiana. Does that name ring a bell to you?
Does that name ring a bell to me, Adrian?
Go ahead and roll investigation.
Does it ring a bell to anyone?
If anyone, it would be Vincent.
Okay.
I can't see my character. Okay, we're there. So tiny.
So small.
Investigation. 14.
In the past, you had looked into your grandfather's exploits a bit to keep up just your understanding of what had been going on there. Shiana is his assistant. A second-rank member of Umberlee's family. It says, Shiana handles seafaring shipping routes out of the Stormlands in the Aborian Valley. Due to her connection to the Storm family in the Stormlands, she holds significant clout and station. She's the one who hired me to get rid of you.
And what did she say about me to you? Simply that she wanted me gone, or was there something she added that motivated you in this direction?
She said you were somehow involved with all of this. She said that she didn't know how, but upon looking into the actual mission, initially, she said you were nothing. Just a small fry. So I sent a few nothings to deal with you, and they ended up in the ocean.
I just kind of smile over towards Lavos a little bit and look back.
That piqued my interest a bit, so I began to dig a little bit deeper on you. And then, eventually, I decided it was of interest enough to try and take you out myself. But I didn't want to just stab you. It's a little bit boring. I wanted to see what you were worth. You didn't disappoint. A second time. So when I finally began to look into you in earnest, I found something I didn't exactly like, and this became personal. Deep Sashalas and Umberlee's family were providing passage and protection for the ships that had friends on them. So now I'm going to deal a blow right back. It was their mistake to try to use me in the first place. She hands a dossier with Shiana's face. It says Shiana Stormdaughter. It has routines. It has her workplace. It has her home. And she says, right here, Shiana's Manor. Whitewater Key. She has some kind of meetings going on pretty much constantly. But this is where I'm going to strike. And I wanted to give you the opportunity to take a head. One that tried to take yours.
Well, I'm not 100% sure what sort of conversation you had last night in your dreams with, and he'll gesture towards Lavos. But I seem you to be filled in. You know what's going on then, I assume?
It's a broad statement.
I mean me, darling. Because obviously everything Shiana told you was basically a lie.
A drop of black in the gold water. That's what she called you. She said you were a mistake. She said with you out of the picture, it would make life easier for her.
Well, she also said that I was the one that he'll tap the image of the locket that did this to your dear little friends.
You said you found this in a different job? That doesn't have anything to do with the carriage, does it?
Someone else found this. But as you mentioned the carriage, she pretty small family to be this informed.
We like information.
We're pretty smart. For an old man.
Yes. I've seen some old
Gives
men
us
do
about
some
laugh.
weird things.
Hmm.
Have you ever
Well-
met?
Oh, continue. Sorry, dear.
No, it's okay.
No, I wish to know who we may have met.
Takes a long sip. Have you ever met any half elves?
Quite a few in my time.
I'm related to one.
I think I probably have at some point.
You have to
Everybody-
nail them. Bianca can't say this word right now. Narrowed them down a bit, dear.
Shiana has a daughter. Lives within the city. Travels pretty frequently. Shiana herself is a half-elf. And her daughter, yet another half-elf, moving through the city, does not exactly enjoy her mother. This might be a means, but she's recently disappeared. Shortly before I began looking into her. I didn't know
Where?
if a family who liked information had any additional that they would like to share.
Well, it's not like I'm not disinterested in this, but Shiana's probably the least of my worries. More interested in going after the big fish. He doesn't want to leave me alone anymore.
I don't think your grandfather even is looking at you. I don't think he's paying any attention to you. Shiana was the one behind this hit, and if I don't finish this job and bring her ahead, she's just going to send someone else.
Inciting the situation, I might probably need a roll for this. Does it feel like she doesn't know that he's her assistant?
No, the dossier she handed you had the information that she was his assistant. But in her dealings directly with Shiana, she said that this seemed personal. Like to her, saying that if you were out of the way, it would make life easier for Shiana.
Well, it might be personal, but it's probably coming from higher up. Either way, knowing this person, Shiana, when Vincent was younger and looked into her, how was her personality? Did she seem... She's a part of the Umberly family, so I'm assuming she's not a good person.
As far as all you could get with your previous investigations was that she is very fastidious. She's very detail-oriented. She handles... Let me go ahead and find this information. Shiana handles both shipping routes in and out of the Stormlands in the Aborian Valley. She is a half-elven woman. She seems very meticulous with her work. Aside from that, it's basically just like what she does, what she eats, where she goes, how long she spends outside of the house, where her meetings take place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vincent just like sits there and takes a sip from the basket. There's probably some wine in there. He'll take a sip, think about this for a couple seconds, and put it down. Well, she's going to be a thorn in our side, and frankly, getting rid of her would definitely big blow towards the high ups. So, not adverse to this agreement.
You said her daughter went missing? How long ago was that?
Shortly before I started looking into her, Shiana herself doesn't seem to pay much attention to her daughter, so I'm not even sure that she's aware it's happening. But maybe a few weeks at most.
What was known about her disappearance?
She just left. Took her things from her family home and just left. She's a member of Deep Sashlas's family.
Yeah, we've heard of that happening to other people. Might be connected.
Does it seem like they're collecting people from like different families?
I mean, Gillig's not part of a family.
We should probably have this conversation another time, dear, unless you wish to portray more information to our new friend here.
It seems like we might be able to help each other on that. Although maybe we should ask the obvious question first. You're part of Syric's family. Why should we trust anything you say?
Exactly, dear.
Be smart not to. But it would be wise to understand when you can and can't trust someone, I think. Your own shortcomings are not my fault. There's nothing wrong with Cyric.
We didn't say there was anything wrong with Cyric.
Could I insight that she seemed to like
think
your
you're-
thought?
I think your shortcomings of assuming things about us are your own.
Yeah, 17.
17 insight. It seemed to have touched a nerve. Definitely. Like there's definitely like she highly values or cares for Cyric in one way or the other.
I have no issue working with you or working with Cyric. Our only thing is we want to make sure that our information is straight and that we're not endangering ourselves unintentionally or intentionally. Either way, we don't want to get hurt if we can avoid it.
I don't like working with people with a death wish, so I guess we're on the same page.
Well, if it assures you, dear, I don't have anything against your kind. I don't disvalue anyone until they prove otherwise. You'll smile at her.
She pauses for a moment. She says, that narrows things down a bit. No. I want this to take place at night, within the next few days, while these meetings of hers are still taking place. Whatever information we can manage to gain from whatever is happening within these meetings as well will be pretty valuable for the right buyer. And if we take care of her, cut the head off the Hydra, a few more will pop into their place. Then we can see how far this really goes.
About this, though, he'll tap the picture of the locket. What do you gain out of this? In regards to this.
I'm going to take both of these families down for the parts that they have in this trafficking. This is just a step.
It's not going to stop the trafficking. Someone else is just going to step in and keep doing it. If it makes you feel better, you can kill them, but that's not how it's still going to happen.
It actually brings up one thing. I'd prefer we take her alive. She has a lot of information. She's been privy to your grandfather's work for years. It's a valuable source.
As long as she's away from him and he's lost some sort of asset, I'm fine if you guys do whatever you want with her.
You're an assassin. You've probably been told to keep people alive and bring them to other locations. What do you have to aid us in this?
She holds up a dossier of completely invaluable information.
I understand
And
the
she also-
information. I mean, in the process of transporting a live person, kind of raises a lot of eyebrows. Can't just shove them in a duffel bag. You usually have to dismember them first.
I have connections to a family who can offer me something. All I need to do is get near her unconscious body, and you can leave that part to me.
Okay.
Maybe if this works out and we work well together, I have an interest in figuring out what's going on with that carriage, and it seems to me like that's a thorn in Cyric's side. So maybe we could work together on that too.
I didn't expect that to come up, but we'll see how well you do. I've already seen that you're pretty capable, so I can't immediately throw that out the window. Here's to a beautiful friendship. And she reaches over and grabs the other half of the bun Lavos was holding. And then he just kind of reaches a hand forward and places his hand on hers and says, if you take a single step out of line, you'll never sleep again. Enjoy the bun. Honestly, it's focaccia. And he takes a step back and just sits and stares forward. She takes it. She's like, I don't want to get on the bad side of any gods. I don't have a death wish, as we have all
I mean,
seen.
it's okay. You'll be able to prove yourself too. I mean, Vincent found out what you were doing in like a day. So,
It's more like an hour, dear.
yeah, that's what I mean. I think you need to reevaluate your processes. So we'll both have things to prove to each other. And
Yes.
I smile.
It seems like I have some work to do.
It's not that you seem capable, Amira. I just got,
I mean,
let's just call this one a little lucky. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But, if we can make this work, I'm sure there's different things, like Jojo was saying, we can trade in the future. Also, I do appreciate the fact that you're no longer trying to remove my pretty head. I do enjoy it on my shoulders.
It must have cost a fortune. She looks at
What
your
does she
hair
mean
and like
by
the
that?
gold on your horns.
Oh,
Be ashamed to remove the mantle for all of that precious jewelry. Now, she stands up. Have any other questions?
Well, if you give a shit about those missing people, we're looking into that too.
I'll find out if I give a shit after tonight.
are you going to be able to keep your head during this mission? Usually people in your position, they research their marks a lot faster. I mean, a lot better than you did. So they would realize if they are actually killing someone who's connected to the things that they're researching. And you didn't really do that. You seem to let your emotions get the best of you. So can we trust you on this mission to not totally bungle it?
She smiles and she says, "You don't seem to have an ounce of self-perseverance."
Neither do you. So I guess we're on an even playing field.
Best friends. She kind of leans back for a moment. She says, "Oh, also, she has a few Goliath working for her, so that might hurt. Let's make sure to get the jump."
I like them big and stupid. It's fine.
Yeah, I can tell. She pulls out a drawing of Jaeger and places it down on the table.
This one looks better though. Yeah.
Are you threatening him? Why are you threatening him?
No, not at all. I would never threaten one of such high station.
Or one who's currently trying to figure
Help?
out. Yeah, he's currently trying to rally up a revolution for those for slave trades as well.
Good to know. She stands back, says, "I'll meet you at your family home. Then we will begin."
Can I insight check during that? Did she gain more than we give, kind of thing in that the altercation?
Roll insight.
Like, did we give more than she gave us?
Yeah.
100%. Jojo gave her way
Yeah.
more.
There was distrust and a lot of trust shown in that conversation. In that she mostly shared information that she was like, this is pertinent information. But you guys were letting on a lot of interest to be like, this is how much we know. And a lot of things are happening that you were unaware of. Like, it's
vague.
She seems to be, though, impressed
Vague
by
means
how
vague.
much, and at the same time, like,
I meant more at the end with Jaeger. Basically, did it seem more like we just gave her a bunch of information and she frankly doesn't care? Like, she'll use the information she cares about, but she doesn't care about Jaeger.
She didn't seem to care much about Jaeger. She was just, it seemed to you with your insight that she was flaunting the fact that, like, oh, if there's something going on, I can know about it. Because when she showed you the drawing of Jaeger, just be like, I'm aware of your relationship with this seemingly innocuous person. But when she says, like, someone of high station, obviously she's also aware that he's related to Lathander.
Yeah.
It seemed like she knew that beforehand.
She was trying to flaunt that, but none of that was very okay. I get that.
It's just like subtle jabs, it seems, back and forth. But as she turns and she begins to make her way out, Two ravens return to the table and kind of melt into a small puddle of stardust. All right. Well, that went pretty good, I think.
Yeah, we need to keep an eye on her. She's not going to do very well on this mission. She's too emotionally invested.
Yeah, seems like she has difficulty separating herself sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
In this particular situation, I actually prefer the fact that my assassin was like that. Had they just been an emotional husk like you, Matilda, I feel like I would have a little bit more time.
No, if she had done her research properly, she would have realized before she even went after you that you weren't even related to the stuff that she was supposed to be doing.
Well, I am related.
I know, but you're not you're very much not the reason for the stuff that she was pegging you for, which is what I'm saying, is that if she was doing, you always, Mama Malin Pom Pom, always say before you get into a contract or make a deal, or if you, before you kill anybody, you need to make sure that you research your target first to ensure that you're killing them for the proper thing that you think you're killing them for. And they did not do that. So
I'm not going to say that's not a bad option, dear. Trust me, it seems like a smart thing to do. But in difficult times, people will do anything for money.
I don't think she was doing it for money. She was doing it because she was emotionally invested into what they were doing. Because they hurt people like her, I think is what she was inferring. And so she let her emotions get the better of her and decided to try to kill you before she understood the whole situation.
Well, it all worked out in the end, I guess.
Baka just leans up. He grabs one of the, just a small, like, cookie from the basket and is like,
I like her. I think we could get along.
I think you think of that about everyone, Baka.
Yeah. Doesn't everybody?
And then he just, like, begins eating the cookies one by one in a small stream of
Not
crumbs.
always, dear, but it's a good personality trait to have. It's what makes you so endearing.
Did you see what I did with the coin?
Yeah.
Yeah, it needs
that
a
was
little
good.
work, but
What?
try not to make it too obvious. It might turn into something less intimidating and more the opposite effect you want.
A few seconds later, Amir returns. And you see she has Bean by the scruff. And she throws him down at your guys' feet. And it's just like, this one yours?
I
Hello,
wouldn't
sirs.
necessarily say that. Why
I
are you
think-
assaulting small children, Amir? That seems below your station.
Oh, come on.
Actually, it doesn't. I don't know anything about you, but
Hey,
just
Bean, you're pretty
figured.
far from home.
Right you are, sir. I thought I could help you. I kind of camped out outside your house. And I thought it might help if I were to offer my services, and I was waiting for an opportune time. I
when
couldn't
he's
find it,
talking
though.
here, Vincent's gonna cast Detect Thoughts.
Amir's distracted. Are you
yeah.
subtly casting?
I don't have any subtle spells left, but he'll do it behind. He has the coin in his hand still, so. But while he's talking to Jojo, and
This is it's got verbal, somatic, and material. So it would be nearly impossible to attempt to disguise this
he's
if
done
you
it
are
before.
trying to keep it from like people's notice that it's being cast.
Yeah, I want to give it a chance. He's done it before in front of the dudes who had the schwarm, so.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a deception or sleight of hand, your choice in this one. Because you're attempting to obscure.
Oh!
Wow.
Nat 20 for 26 is not enough. Actually, let me roll perception to modify this.
Guess those schwarm dudes were not very perceptive, or they didn't care.
Oh, they were both hammered on the side of the road. This is an assassin.
Bean?
Emir basically turns and puts herself 30 feet away from you.
That's fine.
And then she just kind of gives a curt bow, stares daggers at you for a moment, and then walks away.
The Detect Thoughts was Bean, by the way, not her.
Totally fine. But she basically just notices, distances herself, and makes that known. And then Bean is like, right, I didn't mean nothing by it. And his surface thoughts are just like, lady was so scary. She must have at least 5 daggers on her.
When he mentioned he camped out outside of, what was his surface thoughts during that?
I think he was like, he's like, I camped out outside your house. And in the back of his mind is just like, and it took me a lot of money to find the location, so they should be impressed by me telling them I could find their house.
Was the old town is where he slept?
In the forest,
family
I
home,
guess?
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, there were some weird fucking spiders. I didn't like it. It was scary.
Oh, is it cutie?
This is his surface thoughts.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Vincent's just noting they can continue talking to him now. Sorry.
I didn't mean anything by it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get caught or captured. Whatever definition you would give to that.
What does your mom do for work?
My mom always told me if someone shifts the question to try and be vague in my answers. She doesn't work. Right.
No,
Actually,
don't do that.
She used to. Don't be vague.
Yeah. What does she
Is
do?
your dear mother dear still alive?
Of course she is. I don't know. I'd be lost without her. No, she used to. She kind of like shores up and sits on the grass with his legs crossed. She used to be a driver, and we used to live very, very far away, as far as I know. But now she can't work anymore.
Why?
She's not feeling very well.
What were you hoping to get by sleeping outside of or staking outside of our family home, Bean?
Just another job, or maybe like maybe one day I could like join your family and do jobs like that for like consistent money.
Jojo looks to Lavos.
I was like, you're just a kid. I don't want to put that on you. But
Quite a few years before you'll be able to enter the dungeon, darling. But I know the struggle you face. Keep your chin up. You'll get through it.
Are you able to commute throughout the city pretty good?
I can. And I know a lot of people who can know things.
You mentioned to Killian that you might want to be a chef. I have my dad owns a cafe. They might be able to give you a job.
Very much like that. And then when I'm a chef, can I also like I can what else can I do after that? What's the next step for old Bean? You see, as soon as he has the opportunity, he's just like, hey, here's a job you could have. He's like, excellent. Next step.
Very
I
ambitious
have
kid.
found a step towards the first thing. Now let's move on to the next. I won't let you down. He stands up and just pulls his vest
Bean,
down.
I have an alternative. You can still pursue your cooking career, of course. You are someone that gets around, right? And Vincent looking up and down, he's somewhat of a... He wouldn't stick out in a crowd. He's just pretty normal, low. So I want to say like low... Like he's not wearing fancy clothes, like just low-end child.
Commoner.
Commoner.
Yes, he is. He seems to be of like the poor lifestyle class. He's wearing clothes that are like chimney sweep, like mid-century London chimney sweep clothing. You can see it's mostly hodgepodge, put together what could be done. Even the gold that you guys had previously given him, nowhere to be seen. Small, empty, like coin pouch on his side and a small hip bag.
You mentioned before that you have ways to get information, correct?
I do, yeah. Me and some of the kids in town like to share the information that we find, and sometimes it leads us into a little bit of scraps, but we get out of it okay.
That I would be interested in. I could give you a list of things that I would be interested in and see if you can filter through your friends. You can pursue your cooking career, but maybe someone on the streets would be, or information on the streets would be interesting to us. And I could pay you for every tidbit that you bring back.
Absolutely. We have a verbal contract. Say that every piece of information is due payment. Is that are we good? Is that yes? Is that yes?
As long as it is relevant to what we need, dear. Not everything. I don't want to know what colored socks you're wearing that day.
It's light green. Oh right, that one doesn't get any information. I'll wait until you ask about my socks next time. Matilda, you have your hand raised.
Me too. Whenever he talks about his mother, does he actually have a mother, or is he just lying?
Roll insight.
He would still have the detect thoughts up when Vincent asked him if his mother was dead. What did he think about? It would have been gone now, but this was before.
His surface thoughts kind of just gave away the fact that he didn't seem to be, like he wasn't lying when he was thinking. It seemed very just like he was giving a little bit more, he was hiding a little bit of information. And that's what you can tell with your detect thoughts. His mother was a driver. He said they came from very far south. She was a chariot driver. And apparently in his mind, he's like, she was the best, right? But she got hurt. And then that's when he was like, she's not feeling well. She actually got hurt. But the actual intense details, you would need to dig deeper in order to attempt to get them. And Matilda with a 5. As far as you can tell, like he's talked about his mom a lot, and it's been very like prideful. Whether or not she's still around or was around to begin with, you're not sure.
Well, if he'll hold out his hand for the kid to shake it.
It reaches up immediately. He's like, "You're not going to regret this."
Stop by the family home later this evening, and I'll give you a list.
Okay.
I need you to look it over and memorize it, but you can't take it with you.
That's all right. I'm really good. I got a good memory. And if I don't have a good enough memory, I'll get one. I'll find one somewhere.
Good.
Perfect.
Jojo.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Jojo, can you do magic awareness for a second?
Yeah. Just her eyes just look like a void, and then inside the void is the colors at war with each other.
Is there any like this?
Is she okay?
Looks around.
Is there anything magical on him or about him? Like it looks like he is like he's disguised or something.
No, he is devoid of magic. And in your magical awareness,
60 feet. All around me.
Mir's only 30 feet away.
She left.
you can see she left. Yeah, she left previously. There's a few people around who seem to have some form of transmutation magic on them. There's people walking around with like a flame in their hand that they're moving very gingerly with, and you can see people with like some spell scrolls on their belts. Some people passing by holding like wands that just shooting out sparklers, and there seems to be magic all around you, but just in normal means. Nothing that you would see as particularly odd.
No, we're fine.
All right, I'm gonna meet you back at your house, and it's gonna be the best time. You'll see, and that list, I'm gonna read it so good. And he turns and he just begins to run off. And Paka's like, "Bring me a jelly." He's like, "I'll bring you a jelly too." As he runs, he's like, I don't know what that is, but I'm glad I'm gonna get one.
Well, today's been quite interesting.
I'm too old for all of this.
Jojo, you're a spry young woman, trust me.
Right you are, Grandpa. Here, let me help you back to the carriage.
Oh, thanks.
Do you guys mind if I split off here? I have a quick thing to do. I'll come by this evening with that guest. You're privy to meet at the mansion.
Okay.
Should be there just shortly after sundown. Or during sundown. also might work. Depends on the situation.
All right. You guys.
I'm just gonna say, as the party's like getting ready and they're going back towards the carriage, Vincent will look towards them all. Oh, and one last thing before I leave. The guest that's coming this evening. It's more of just a stipulation in the favor for dear Vincent here. But if you cause them any form of discomfort in any way, you'll hear from me.
You threatening us, Vincent?
Of course not, dear. And
Noted.
he'll head off.
Okay. Vincent splits off, and the rest of you heading back to the carriage. In this instance, do we want to do a spotlight, or should we do like a sidebar Vincent scenario?
Vince, I didn't necessarily want to roleplay this. We can just have, like, when we get to the family manor, Vincent just needed to go rent one of the more expensive carts, the ones that can take the route all the way to the manor and not drop him off the 30-minute walk away. And needs to go get his guest.
All right.
If there's any form of roles that need to be required to get the guest to come along, but this was pre-discussed, just not on camera.
As you find your way to the eastern side of the deanery, the carriage that would take you from your current location. Sorry, that's the incorrect one. That is 1 gold and 4 silver.
Okay.
You find yourself within a small and wooden home, kind of inset on the side of just this wooden combination of various different houses. And as you meet with your desired guest and you escort them into the carriage, kind of just sitting off to the side, that mild bit of impressed mixed with worry, you find yourself moving down the city streets towards the forests of Old Town, down the paved path. This is one of the strangest but nicest carriages you've seen.
They don't have drivers in these ones too, right? They're just mechanical.
They are fully self-automated. There is, as far as you can tell, there's no driver because you never interact with them, but there is a front cabin that is completely enclosed. It's just metal carriage with this bubbled top that comes down. It has fine wood paneling and brilliantly upholstered on the inside. And when you reach over and grab the handle, a burst of steam unlocks the doorway that slides off to the side. Entering in, it closes and locks, but the doorways, like these windows, just slatted open and lift. Everything automated. And as you sit within this carriage and it travels down, you find the bumpy roads just smooth ride all the way through until you reach the entrance of Old Town and pass through into the manor. You enter into the home. What do you do?
Just to make sure, does anyone else want to do anything in the meantime, or like before Vincent got there?
No, I don't think so.
Picture Jojo just being like, "Do I want to shave my beard?"
I was considering dropping by Cisco's to being like, "You got the bell for this thing," but I think she's just gonna head home.
Okay. So shortly after, like, it's sunset, basically, the sun's like down on the horizon, so it's not necessarily over, but it's still bright enough that we can see outside, and then we'll show up there. As the carriage is like coming up to the manor and everything, Vincent will turn to his guest and basically just be like, "Well, I'm glad you agreed to come along and get introduced. And I hope once you look over the property and meet everyone, you'll agree to move down."
You know, I don't like being outside, but
I know, but as of late, there's been... I would just rather you be here. And he'll put a hand on her, or their hand. His hand on their hand. Plus,
you know,
if you stay here, you'll be able to see me more.
that's not fair.
He'll smile.
I want you to know, no matter what, I'm so proud of you and everything you've accomplished and all of this. I don't need it.
I know, dear, but I do. Oh,
Place her hand on your cheek as the cabin door opens upon reaching its final destination. Just overlooks the manor and is just like, you live here.
well, I still reside at the Black Sheep, but this is our family home. I usually visit here day to day. Eventually, though. And he'll walk out and offer his hand, like, helping someone out of a carriage kind of thing.
Always a gentleman. Takes your hand and steps down. Making their way to the front door. You see, popping open the doorway, standing in the living room, is Lavos, who sits forward. Welcome to my home. And before you, as the doorway opens, those of you who are currently here, you see a middle-aged woman wearing a shawl that covers the vast majority of her face. Very simple clothing, cotton, and there's just a long open dress, kind of a pale blue, belt at the waist. The entire half of her face has just been mired by a burn mark that covers a large portion, as she kind of just like covers the face that little bit more with the shawl, and a just soft and warm smile just comes across as she nods and looks around and says, "It's a very lovely home. I thank you so much for protecting my Vincent."
Vincent will just smirk at that and kind of like holding her gentleman style walk her in. Would you like a seat, dear?
Vincent, do you want to introduce your very mysterious guest? That
He'll
you've,
hold his hand up and he'll
been
turn to
alluding
would you like a seat?
Certainly.
And he'll bring her over to a close couch or something and sit her down. Sorry, this is a little bit more pressing. And he'll turn around after she's seated. This is Alora, my dear mother. Alora, this is Jojo. She's not currently in her normal estate, but we're not sure how long she'll look like this, but she's usually a half orc.
Don't be fooled by me being an old man. I am a 17-year-old half-orc woman.
I don't think I've ever experienced anything like this
Jojo
before.
or Vincent will minor illusion a picture of Jojo. That's what she usually looks like.
And I will look like that again in the morning.
You're very lovely. Are you and my Vincent engaged in some way? Romantically linked?
No. No, Vincent is my brother.
We're family, dear, but not in that way.
When you say
And-
Vincent is my brother, she gets a little bit emotional at that.
And then Vincent will turn. This is Matilda.
Hello.
Hello, dear.
She leans down. She's like, "It's very nice to meet you all. Getting a little over emotional. This is a lot. I apologize." She kind of like leans back a little bit on the couch and looks around. She's like, "You have a lovely home."
Inciting, does it seem to be a little bit too much, or is Alora fine for now?
Roll insight. With your, roll insight. Yeah. She seems a little bit out of depth. For the most part, she remains at home as much as possible and only really goes out for necessities. So she kind of finds herself here. She does seem a little bit like emotionally charged. But she looks like she's enjoying herself. She's just, a lot is happening at once. She's like, wow.
We have a couple more guests. One of them is out. I think she is too busy tinkering away, but I'll introduce you to Killian another day. We also have Parker. And then Vincent will be like, Parker?
Parker immediately moves in. He's wearing a big bow tie, and he's like, that was my cue. He like moves forward, and he takes the bow tie off and hands it towards her, and he's like, you can have this. She's like, oh, thank you. Parker? Yes. Gives a long bow, and he's like, I don't know. What is your title? Queen? My queen? It's like, well, I suppose you could call me that if you like. I don't think I deserve it, but Vincent has always been my little king, so it's not wrong, I suppose. Queen Regent. She smiles and gives a curt bow, and Parker's like, Queen of Reagents.
We hungry? I didn't know if you were expecting food. I made some food. It's nothing fancy.
I would love some, Jojo.
Vincent will help her stand up. We can take you over to the dining room if you want. She's just basically gauging her reactions and seeing how she's working and moving.
The dining room. Wow. It's reminds it's all very nostalgic.
He'll take her over there.
As you head towards and you guys sit at the dining room table. Jojo, you bring out a bit of food. What did you make? I think Lavos at this point has stocked the pantry. He seemed to be somewhat privy to this happening. So there's quite a bit of food here.
Jojo made a warm meal. It's some type of like potato casserole dish. It's very simple, but it's like herby and like creamy. And has some cheese on top.
I like it. Also very reminiscent. You can see that Elora's like, this looks absolutely wonderful. A home-cooked meal. I usually cook my own, and honestly, I have too many leftovers. I usually just share it with the neighbors. But that's probably oversharing, isn't it?
My dad's a chef Bond, so I miss his cooking.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, Matilda, what were you saying?
Oh, she said it was oversharing, and I don't think that's oversharing.
No? Okay. I'm never really certain. I don't do this very often. It's very nice.
Neither.
Yeah, two of a kind. You guys share a small meal with Elora, who begins to just share every bit and detail of Vincent's early life and sharing very little of her own, talking about how he was when he was just a little tyke. It's like he's always been like this.
What do we get about his backstory?
It's like, from what you've heard recently, being like, oh, Vincent was somehow long ago involved in some kind of child trafficking situation. There's like, none of that is shared. There's a lot of things like, oh, Vincent used to just go. He would always leave in the early morning and come home at night, sometimes bruised and banged up. And when Rosalind, the elder Rosalind, offered aid within the city, I couldn't. It was all so much to take in. And Vincent's work, it was so honest, and he's just such a good boy. Everything about my son he's my world. And just begins to move through, just very emotional and loving. And every word just flowing out of her mouth is warm and nostalgic.
Vincent's not like, he'll let her do whatever. And he's just want to make sure that, like, if she seems tired or if she seems out of whack, he'll also at a certain point probably get up and play some music for her.
Does she seem nervous? Like, can we all tell that? Do we have to insight that, or is that
No.
just like apparent?
She's incredibly nervous, but she also seems to be a nervous talker. And as she goes on, she talks about how proud she is of how and then he starts playing the music, and she's just like, and he's such a brilliant composer as well. And it just doesn't end.
And then after the food and everything goes on, unless you guys have any other questions, it would be mostly like weird things from his childhood that happened, like the fact that he was out of the house a lot and would come home with like money here and there. It would probably the only thing it would probably strike a chord with, similar to what's going on with Bean, would or would be kind of like that. And as he finishes up his song, he'll turn, Mother dear, do you? It's late. I wouldn't want you traveling back home. Would you want to stay the evening? I have a room ready for you.
I wouldn't want to impose.
Dear, there's quite a few free rooms in this house. Aside from us and one more, there's no one else.
Lavos stands and is just like, allow us to show you to your room. Please, there is absolutely no imposition. You are welcome. As much as Vincent is your son, I view him as mine as well. So we are of one mind. Come, I'll show you to your lodgings. And just stands and kind of plays the part of just a like the butler here.
Yeah, Vincent
move you guys
Vincent
through.
allows this, and like he allows Lavos to take her. He's like looking over the situation, and keeping an ear out, but allows them to chit chat and talk while he sits back down and just grabs some wine.
I think it's like she's like, oh, so how long have you worked with the household? And he's like, oh, I'm the god of the family. She's like, oh, like, yeah, follow me.
Oh my god, I love that. Jojo turns to Vincent. You could have just told us your mom was coming over. You're so dramatic.
I don't know what you mean, dear darling.
You were just like, oh, my very special guest's coming over.
She's very special to me.
Yeah, of course she is. But it seemed like you didn't want to say your mom was coming over to make like a dramatic entrance about it.
You looked me unfeeling earlier, but you really seem to want to distance your emotions from your own mother.
You would like me to not care about my own mother? Is that what you mean, Matilda?
No, I'm saying that you are making it seem like you don't, but I think you really do. It seems weird.
I care about my mother greatly.
Yeah. But why wouldn't you tell us that she was coming?
It's not necessarily you guys. I never know if people are watching, especially with my family.
Is she in trouble? Is that why you want her to stay here?
I don't know what dear grandfather could be up to. I don't think he cares about that side of the family necessarily, as much as he cares about me.
Is she?
But I would never. Any precautions necessary to keep her safe, of course.
Is your grandfather her father, or?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately. We are blood related.
I more so was wondering if your dad was if this grandfather was on your mom's or dad's side.
No, it's his, unfortunately.
Is he the one who burned her?
You see Vincent goes to like grab the wine glass and then it shatters in his hand as you say that. And then he just sits there for a second and puts his hand down on the table. Yes.
Yeah, that's a pretty trash person.
Yep.
He just grabs a napkin and cleans the shards of glass out of his hand. Not even like...
I take 4 points of piercing damage.
Cool.
I don't like bad parents.
Well, you can't always be lucky. But to be honest, and I hate to admit it, you never had kids, I'd never be here. So.
Parker says, I'm gonna be the best parents.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you are.
Where are my
You
children?
already are, Parker.
He just walks off.
She's had a difficult life, and mostly my doing, unfortunately. But I think moving here, if she can get a little bit of extra help, she's getting older, and with her disabilities, it will be harder for her to do things. She's stubborn and refuses most help, so it'll
Oh.
be interesting to see what she gets up to.
So it's hereditary.
She's
Only
human,
sometimes,
right?
dear.
Your mother, is she a tiefling or a human?
She's a human.
Human.
Okay.
The other characteristics, her face is burnt, some of her hair is missing. Also, one of her arms is always gloved. And one of her eyes is fully white. It's like glazed over like cataracts. You assume she can't see out of it.
Okay.
And Lavos comes down the steps, and she's out like a light.
Yes, she doesn't get out very often, and small tasks can make her tired. One of the reasons I wanted her here. You're usually here while we're absent in the dungeon, correct, Lavos?
Yeah, you can leave. You can leave this to me. She reminds
I don't
me of
mean
my own
to
mum.
impose, of course, put some sort of burden on you, but
I don't lie. No imposition at all. I'll
Your
protect
mum.
your mother.
I think she'd like you to. Plus,
Your
if you
mom
just
like-
hang out in this house by yourself, you might go senile as well.
Your
I
mom.
think that
Lavos,
ship
huh?
has sailed.
Sorry, Jojo, what was that?
He reminds you of your mom, Lavos. For some reason I just didn't really think. I don't know how God.
Lavos was a
Do we need
person
to have this
first.
talk, Jojo?
Right, you were
I was-
human.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was a man once.
Right. You forget
Now
that.
I can be a man or a woman if I want.
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah,
Apparently, so can I.
What
Yeah,
do you look
so
like
I've
as a
seen.
girl?
about the same. My beard is a little bit less bushy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you like a dwarf woman?
No, I can't become a dwarf. Nor a halfling or a gnome. Or Parker. Parker's like, what? From the other room. He's like, nothing, Parker. Okay. Window closes. No, my mom is a very wonderful woman.
And Vincent will reach into his little lapel, pull it out, and hand it over to Lavos. These are things she likes. Her mobility is somewhat limited, but she likes to be useful.
All right.
It's things like cooking and cleaning, and like she likes to knit and do puzzles.
I was thinking of starting a garden soon. I could do that. Shortly into the evening, you hear a knock on the front door.
Jojo will go answer it.
I just need to know which one of you does. Jojo dies. You good. I was tired of this character. You open the door. There's nobody there.
Oh, it's the imp.
No.
You are catching on. Most excellent.
Mo just becomes visible again and just begins to step his way through his doorway.
I could have gone in through the windows, But I decided no, not this time, Mo. And here I am.
Being overly dramatic.
And he just passes by and through you. He's just explaining how he got here.
Yeah.
Shortly behind, in the distance, you see Amir, who's kind of just standing there, looking down the hallway, or down the long pathway, examining the state of Old Town. And slowly she begins
the
to
door
approach.
open until she arrives all the way there.
Yeah, there's like that awkward situation where it's like the door's open, you're like easily 100 feet away. Are you gonna move any faster? Are you gonna am I just gonna wait here? And then eventually she just continues walking at a confident stride the entire way, makes her way in. She says, "Unnecessarily nice of you, thank you."
Okay. She closes the door right before she enters. I'm kidding.
And then you
Doesn't
open it
do
right
that.
away.
She nods and makes her way in. But previously, you got like a good 3 minutes before she reaches the door. So as Mo arrives, you had previously asked him about Regis. Says
He took the gold and has begun his own brief investigations.
Remind me the exact wording of the question that you had asked previously.
Oh God, I don't even remember.
Okay, we can just basically throw in a
Oh,
new-
it was anything to do with Melora or whatever her name is, Morgan. Morgan's family, or not family, but the cult of
Zamal.
Zamayatel. The
Zamayatel, like basically hand him the drawing, tell him the cult of Zamayatel, and he wants any underground information on them that they know of, and the people that are going missing, basically.
He has taken like the information that's been shown, and he points out that he says the 10 gold has purchased us just a brief bit of information in regards to the hand of the lady, which he points at the sigil of the upturned hand of the bladed sun, and he says, this apparently is a group of Altician faithful who are a branch of the original Altician faith. Now, apparently the faith itself denounced this group and has claims that it is a offshoot, a simple extremist group that has taken the symbol of Altisha and in official standing has declared them enemies of the faith. As for the cult itself, there does not seem to be any information readily available, but Regis has begun to look into it. He said there will be an additional charge for such information, but it will be cheaper if you are all to visit him for dinner.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
Or he just wants us for dinner? Unsurprising.
Friends for dinner.
Such is all the information I have to share.
I specifically told you to keep our identity with him private. Did you disclose that information?
Whether or not he knew who I was there for, or whether he is simply inviting mysterious donors and benefactors to dinner, I do not know. I did not care to ask.
Good then. Just was double checking.
He nods.
Can I insight check?
You may.
I did say welcome back in Abyssal to him because Matilda finds this funny now that he doesn't like.
Ooh.
I think he was ready for that, and he throws caltrops at your feet. But you're standing still, and they're perfectly visible. So you're just like, there's caltrops on the ground now. 2 of them, to be precise.
Take a step. Just one. All I require.
With a 27 insight, Vincent, you can see that he's telling the truth, the full truth, and nothing but the truth. So help Lavos.
Also, Amir's here.
Amir's basically standing in the background. Mo himself kind of just brought himself to another room to speak with Vincent. And Amir, as she's kind of waiting in the living room, approaches everybody post and says, are we going to go now? Or would you like to hesitate for a night?
Thinking back on the conversation we had with her before, was that what was planned?
She said she would show up. She had some stuff that she wanted to do, but it would be, she wants to do it either tonight or tomorrow while these meetings that Sheena's having are taking place.
And the job is to basically just go in there, knock this lady unconscious, and then she'll take her, and that's it.
Yeah, it's basically a kidnapping job to infiltrate the manor and then basically
how
kidnap
is the manor based off her logs? Like, is it just servants and butlers and normal common people? Like, how many adventurers are there?
She pulls out a map.
Ooh.
I managed to get this blueprints, or rather, conceptual blueprints. Let me just make sure I'm not going to share too much information here. I don't want you guys to see the ancient dragon in the forest.
Oh no.
Bring in a nice
Just-
little light here.
Right off the bat, though, when she says information, like she wishes to go tonight, is there any way we can do it in the morning? I'm a little less useful right now. Though I am always useful. I can manage.
It doesn't seem overly... I'd like this to take place at night. If you're not ready tonight, we should do it tomorrow night. Any further and we risk losing. Losing whatever information may have been there.
He'll look towards Jojo and Matilda. Does that seem good?
Sure.
I mean, if we do it tonight, I'm an old man, which is actually probably for the better. But either works.
Just
for me.
keep the mask on longer.
Nah. Jaeger's not gonna. Well, I guess I can get Jaeger to come back a different day, but whatever.
We don't know how this has impacted your abilities to do anything.
I feel the same.
Now let me bring you guys in.
Well, tomorrow's our last chance, so we'll stretch it out as far as we can. That's agreeable to you, Mia.
I think that's fine.
But we talk it over at least tonight. Figure what our plan is.
Also, you seem to have gained a little bit of information from us this afternoon. You're not necessarily going to punish who you think I gained the information from, do you?
That's my business.
Unfortunately, it's not in this case.
Unfortunately, it is.
Well, no, if you do, it'll put a little strain on our relationship.
We'll see. I will weigh the odds. She leans back and begins to point out. She says, what you're looking at is the first floor of her manor, which is known as Woodhome. It is within the Whitewater Key. Various different rooms are being used. There's no in particular methodology towards the meetings that are taking place, so it could be in any of them. But I do know that she has a contingency of guards that she has roaming the halls, both the first and second floor. During these meetings, it seems like her guard on the second floor is weakened. My plan was to enter through the garden and make my way through the home to the stairs. Entering into the second floor via the stairs, we will continue into the second floor, where her bedroom is just off to the side. She has a balcony that connects to her bedroom on the north side that sits over top of the garden, but is completely enclosed in solid glass. The only way that I know in order to travel through something like this in a faster way would be to use the Misty Step spell, if any of you have that. And if any particular one of you has it, it's all but useless unless you all do. I'm just going to start out and say I don't have it, and shattering a glass window is the first way you will get caught. But it would be valuable to be able to break in through this location, if we can.
I could, if it's not reliable. The real roll of the dice, metaphorically, and not
Yeah,
literally.
I've seen your capabilities in combat, Jojo. It's not super stealthy.
No, I was talking about Misty Step.
Yeah.
I can do something like that, but it's not really a choice of mine.
I'd rather leave the variables out. if
Yeah.
possible.
Garden
Well,
route it is then.
I think this route is fine. I just know our party isn't necessarily as stealthy as I know other ones can
I
be.
can make myself invisible.
I
That's
can as
valuable.
well.
Or
I can make
someone else.
Yes, I can turn at least 2 people invisible, myself and one other. Could also disguise myself. And I can put on a very good act. Similar to you, Amir.
You see she takes note of what you're saying and just kind of gives a nod. She says, what are your classes? Just so we can get through with this.
You first, dear.
I'm a rogue.
Barbarian.
I'm a bard.
I'm a warlock.
You basically saw what we were mostly capable of in the dungeon, right?
Impressive for your rank, certainly.
How did you do it, by the way? Disguising a tattoo isn't usually something that is easy.
She pulls out, I believe it was on like her bicep. She like pulls back her shirt and just shows off the location where Seelan showed off his tattoo. Not there. Trick of the trade.
Simply some form of illusion, I assume.
No. I don't know that any of you would be able to do it.
Okay, he thinks he knows what it is.
Anyway, none of you are a druid or a ranger, so I thought I might be able to help us out with a bit of stealth, but it doesn't seem like that's in the cards. Metaphorically speaking. And she looks at you, Jojo. So, this will happen tomorrow night.
How many bound people? You said the guards on the upper floor. Are they bound, or are they simply just big, beefy dudes?
Sheena has one Goliath guard alongside her at the home recently. She has other Goliath under her employ from Asaria. I don't know if any of you have ever been, but it's a rather rough place. The nature of the guards on the floor is that they seem to be warrior bound, each and all, which means that they shouldn't be too hard to take out. And there are, as far as I can tell, some unmentionables, some bandits that Sheena's been doing dealings with that may or may not be in the home. Depends on the night that we decide to attack. They've been meeting infrequently and somewhat sporadically.
Mia, since we're sharing information, and I haven't been able to use this tidbit yet, I think I might as well be a little generous. Hopefully this investment pays off. And he'll reach into his coat and bring out the locket. Had someone I may have eavesdropped on in Masks District. I was looking for this.
Orcish individual?
Yes. Is he with you?
Kind of.
Care to
Nothing
share
to
with
worry
all?
about. There was one person that he planted it, basically. I'm trying to remember here. I used him. He was the one who initially had hired the other two. And I imagine since that whole thing went belly up, he's probably scared shitless.
Good. Well, now that that's out of the way, does everyone seem good? I think casting invisibility and just trying to make it as far as we can in.
You said that there was meetings. Who's she supposed to be meeting with?
Nobles. Nobles from, I believe, one of the offshoots of the royal family within Amaranth. She pulls open her dossier and begins looking through the notes.
Did these royals happen to get into power about 18 years ago?
They've been a part of the Amaranthian nobility for quite some time. Goes as far back as Amaranth's founding and their defection from the Dianthian Empire.
Would Vincent know about these people since he was here before the tower showed up?
You would, yes. This is, they say, it's either has anything to do with the Earl Keelan or the Duke and Duchess Durrell. I believe both, most likely, since they never can keep their fingers out of each other's business.
Duchess Farrell?
Duke and Duchess Durrell and Earl Keelan. I think I can copy and paste these.
It's okay. I wrote it. But, and do you know what the meeting's supposed to be about? So they're simply just catching up.
I'm not certain. It seems to be, something about some kind of big happening within the city, since they've been meeting pretty frequently. And considering it has something to do with the Goldwaters, money's involved.
It always is, dear.
Ain't that the truth?
Well, I am more than interested in this, and I wouldn't mind taking out an asset away from my dear grandpapa, so say it's a date, and he'll smile towards her.
She just freezes. And she's like running through her head to try and figure out the right way to respond to this at the moment, but she's like, fuck it, I'll play. I'll be there with bells on.
Maybe a cute little dress.
Don't fucking push your luck.
One can always dream, dear.
The main goal here is to take things, if we do get seen, and it's a small house, take them out quick, take them out silently. They're warrior bound, they're not going to be very strong. So with the 5 of us, we just need to get up to the 2nd floor without alerting everyone in the house. If we can get some information on these dealings that the Duke and Duchess are in, or the Earl, even better. If we can't, so be it. We just have to get her. Now, any further questions?
More of a favor, Mia. We might be busy tomorrow. Do you mind doing a quick thing? I've heard of spells that can kind of mask us and our presence. I think it would be helpful towards our party in particular, considering one of us is heavily armored.
It's a Passado trace, yes.
Oh, is that what it's called? Never learned the name.
The spells are pretty heavily documented. It just a single trip to the library will do you good.
I've been researching other things, but I've heard of these universal scrolls. I haven't learned the spell in my bardic knowledge, but that doesn't mean I couldn't be able to cast it.
I can see about getting one. I know we don't have very many in the family home. And this isn't strictly family business. This isn't something I've run by Cyric. So, might be hard. Universal scrolls past 1st level are somewhat expensive. How much are you willing to throw down for this?
Insight? Can I insight check her just to get a vibe of like, or I guess there's be no way to do that. It'd be more of like a intuition in check for Vincent to see how much would be the best to partake right now. Businessman style kind of thing.
Okay, so you want to use what additional skill? Cool under pressure? Or like, you have a business skill, don't you?
No, that was supposed to be cool under pressure.
Okay. Cool under pressure plus insight on this one. Ooh, natural 1, which means 11, which you can still tell if any commoner anywhere was lying to you. No, not really. She does seem to be forthright. She hasn't seemed to be withholding any more information than is necessary for the successful completion of the mission. It doesn't seem like she would have any reason to hold back in this regard. But you do know that previously, like seeing Ashen spell scrolls, anybody can cast a spell from an Ashen spell scroll. It does not need to be on your class's spell list, but all the other stipulations still apply. And they are basically 1 rarity higher in expense per spell level. So cantrip and 1st level are uncommon. A 2nd level spell, which Passado Trace is a rare item. So these are on the low end, so they'd probably be somewhere around 500 gold. She says, I could get them at cost. I have some connections, but it's expensive.
You know, Kill's actually pretty stealthy if she takes off her armor. But she also won't be able to bring in blade beaks, so she'll be, down on equipment.
Yeah, you do have a 2-ton fucking metal bird, don't you?
Yeah.
Her mode of dealing damage is usually done as well.
Not quiet.
Bad
Does
good.
anyone else, and Vincent will take out a dagger from his side and flip it up. Is anyone else capable of using one of these, or do you just have other preferences?
Talking to me? You're asking if I could use a dagger?
I don't know. I usually see you with a battle axe. I didn't know if your fingers were quite as nimble.
I'm not. Yeah, it's not my specialty. Using a dagger. I'm much better with like warhammers and great swords.
She pulls a dagger out from her back pocket and places it on the table. It's a fine looking blade, and she says, point him with the sticky end. And she just puts it in the table.
Matilda, what is your confidence in this? Eldritch Blast I think it would be quite a.
You attack with the dagger. It's like with dex, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dex or strength.
Yeah, it's finesse.
Oh, it is finesse? Okay, so I could use strength for it? The strong stab.
So I pick up the dagger and I like stab it on the table. Oh shit, I actually make a dent. I was oh!
Can I use this? And you just implant it in the table. Lavos is like, my fucking table. I just bought this. It's fine oak.
Million can
Pulls the
mend
dagger.
it.
You can bend it. Relax.
All right. I paid a lot of money for this. I made
Alright.
half of it myself.
I put the dagger in. I can't get it out because I'm not strong enough.
Yeah, Lavos goes in and just kind of like plucks it and places it down on the table and just begins to like examine it. He's like, it warped it now.
That was lucky. I usually can't do anything like that.
Matilda, you're grounded. No assassination for you. You and I tomorrow, we're going to sit back and we're going to watch manuscripts of plays for the entire evening. This is your punishment.
No.
All right. Just continues looking at the table.
So you're saying I should probably leave the great sword that does a thunderous gong when I hit objects with it at home during this mission?
You can bring it along. I'm just saying it doesn't gong when you hit people, but
No, it doesn't.
Which of the two do you have?
I got both.
You have both?
I got both.
Why are you still an old man?
Wait, what? Is that the bell that's talking about? Fuck me. Seriously?
Yeah,
do it.
I mean,
Do it.
it's... Don't fucking do it while I'm here. Do it
Yeah,
on
I'll
your
do
own
it.
time.
I'll do it later.
It's the-
I don't want to wake up I don't want to wake up our guest.
Does the bell affect you?
How did you get the mask?
I
she
bought it.
bought it.
Okay, good. I'm sitting here just thinking, there's no way in hell you guys got that high that fast.
You don't know.
I do know, you just told me.
You ditched so fast.
We got up pretty far, dear.
Rats. How did you get past the desert?
Can I insight check? If you want?
Roll an insight.
19.
Deception. You have no idea. You gain no additional insight into the statement she's saying.
When we walked into the 4th floor, there was no desert there, right?
There's no desert on the 4th floor, as far as you can tell in their immediate sight.
He's gonna assume she's lying, and he's just going to answer with another question, being like, "There's so much blood, though. At least where we ended off."
All right. That's a bit.
Should you want me to roll deception?
Yes. Her insight is not as high. No, sorry. I actually would be back to where it was. Ooh, you win by 1. She's sitting there, she looks at you for a second, and yeah, she's like, yeah. Impressive. Fucking lucky. But impressive. I'm gonna be
Go,
less of an
yeah.
asshole, I think. Oh, leave? Fine. Well, fuck you too. She stands up
No,
and
I just
folds
mean
up the
like this
papers.
conversation is over. You can stay for tea if you like, but you didn't really seem like this person.
I don't need to overstay my welcome. But I'm gonna drop the dick measuring for a little bit. So good to work with you. And she brings her hand out for a handshake for everybody.
I'd say I win, but
I'd say
do
you-
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I'd
you could do
say
things.
don't. I know you're confident, but like how confident are you?
By him? I mean, he's gold bond.
That's true.
Did she? When did she lift up her thingy to show us before? Oh, there was no tattoo there.
No.
Can we see her tattoo anywhere?
No.
Sorry, she's reaching out her hand for a handshake.
Yes.
Okay, Vincent will shake it.
Yeah, Jojo will shake it with
See
her
you- when
wrinkly
should we
old
meet?
hands.
In front. Meet here just before sundown.
I'll meet you here. an hour before midnight.
Done.
Reaches her hand out towards Matilda and kind of eyes you up and down to be like, I don't know if you're going to shake my hand, but she puts her hand out anyway.
Matilda won't.
Jojo,
Yeah.
eyes.
Oh. Just I think yeah, she snaps her fingers by her eyes again, and like the spark from it goes across her eyes. She does a look around.
You hear boom. Nobody else hears it. People are not like, holy shit, a very loud bell. You just hear that in the center of your head for a brief moment. And as you glance around, she has several magic items on her. No currently active effect. She does have a magical ring, but it's on the other hand.
Any magical
as far as you can see.
on Vincent?
3 visible sources. And Vincent, do you have nothing that you would not have cast yourself if you have anything on you at current?
Cool. I just was making sure no curses went off.
And
Then
Matilda?
she pulls her hand back and just gives you a nod, Matilda, like a knowing nod.
Matilda, what
and-
time is it?
Oh, Tamara's
The
choice.
time comes out.
3 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's roughly, you guys are looking at, this is early morning the next day, yes? No.
This?
No,
No,
you're
it's
still
late.
during the same day. So it's late in the afternoon, almost cresting nightfall. It's pretty much almost dark outside.
All right,
So
I'm
it's,
just wondering if I heard the gong of midnight for some reason.
You most certainly did not. Amir was the
Okay.
one who gave you a side eye, not me as the DM. I wasn't like, fucking time is it? What a stupid question. No, Amir
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
Okay, that's weird.
Well, I will see you all in a bit, and I would like to retire for the evening. Vincent will push back out of his chair and leave. As long as Jojo didn't alert him to anything with her eyes.
No. She didn't give that many. You said Amir has 3 magic items on her?
3 visible sources on her, yeah. 2, one on each side of her waist. That's just kind of like poking out of the top of 2 small pockets. You can see just a faint little bit of amber and a faint little bit of ebony on the other side. And a ring that she's wearing on her finger that is the symbol of a large shield that seems to be emblazoned with various gemstones.
I feel like that's a common enough magic item that I would know that that's the ring of protection, yeah?
Roll Arcana. You don't actually recognize it.
Okay.
It is a rare magic item.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
I will work with you. I will not sabotage you. I don't know if I like you. And I really don't like the things that you did to us.
All fair.
I also think you let your emotions get the better of you. And I don't know if that's going to affect this job. So we'll see when we get there.
I suppose that's true. I like you quite a lot. And I look forward to working with you. Seem to have a excessively level head. And just so you know, I don't really like anyone I work with. And you often just kind of need to get along.
Yeah, I try my best.
Bye. She turns and just begins to walk away. Making her way to the front door, pops it open, turns around and says, one more thing. And then she leaves without saying anything else.
I really don't like her.
And as you all...
I'm gonna go for a walk. And Jojo starts like sort of following after Amir, not like really. I'm just walking. I'm not following. I'm following you, but I'm just trying to get far enough away from the house that I'm not gonna wake anyone else up when I.
Give me a few minutes. We probably should not be seen walking away from your house together.
Okay.
Although, if anyone's watching, they're not going to be stupid anyway. I changed my mind. Let's walk together.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
It's just really silent. And everything.
You reach the edge of the city, or the edge of Old Town. And what does everyone do for the evening? Get some
the-
rest.
The only thing before Vincent goes to bed that would have happened that evening is Bean was supposed to show up for him to give the list to.
Yeah, and Bean would show up promptly. You probably actually, Jojo, walked past Bean, and Bean's like, hello, sir, and also scary lady. I guess nights can also be, you can have a scary night. Hello, sir. But the sir that I don't like. Hello, Jojo.
Hey, how can you... Oh, you just know that I'm old now?
Oh, I've got quite a bit of information in regards to a lot of the things that have been happening around. Also, you were talking about it not too long ago.
Yeah, I knew that earlier you didn't seem very surprised that I was
No.
old, which is interesting.
I was
Okay, cool.
eavesdropping a little bit. But that's why I'm here, eavesdropping. And he makes his way past you and goes towards the house.
Probably shouldn't tell me that.
Okay, next time I won't. Unless you ask. Amir just looks back and she's like, that urchin is trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good asset. And she just continues.
She
Bean
waits
makes
a
his
while
way.
before banging the swords together.
As you do, the mask just falls off your face. You slam them together. First off, roll a d20. On a 1, something happens.
Ooh, maybe that is right.
The swords
9.
shatter each other.
Both of the swords hit your hands, immediately drawn apart. It takes all of your strength to just keep your shoulders from dislocating. As they repel each other with a massive force, the entire forest around you just lets out this massive shockwave, and Amir gets a fair distance away as soon as you had both in your hands. And it's whoa! This one massive bell tone that echoes out throughout practically half the fucking city as far as you can tell. Trees scatter, birds take off from the immediate area, and Amir's like, for fuck's sake.
Do you think that still woke them up?
I changed my mind again. And she turns and begins to walk away.
Oh, you hate me?
The mask
Did we hear
falls
that?
off and hits the ground in front of you. You did. It's impossible not to.
Vincent will wake up and get out of bed and go over to see his mother because she's probably freaking out.
And Bean reaches the front door at around the same time. As you just hear knock, 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 knock. Eventually Paca opens it and is just like, inside. Makes as he's holding a little candle. But you go to your mother's room and you open it up and she's just, what was that?
It's nothing, dear.
I haven't said. There used to
Vincent
be.
will go over and sit next to her. I apologize.
Sounded like the
seems-
abandoned bell tower. It's their city. It's the city under siege.
No,
How's the water?
dear.
How's the oceans? She brings herself over to the window and begins to stare out, holding her shawl together.
Vincent's just trying to comfort her, letting her kind of go through her fit. And when he thinks that she's calmed down enough to listen. I think one of my friends might have been a little overzealous with some magic and let it off nearby. It's nothing for you to worry about. There's no one attacking the city. I apologize. I will speak with them. At the very least, don't do this at night.
Well, that's just light touch. Remember,
He'll lean in and give her a kiss on both cheeks. Go back to bed, dear.
right. She snuffs the candle at her bedside. Thank you, Vincent.
He just gives her a knowing look.
And then as you leave, Bean's kind of waiting at the bottom of the stairs, just bouncing back and forth. He's like, hello, sirs.
I'll send him a message. Vincent didn't look annoyed. That's just his internal thought process right now. He's a little perturbed at the constant disturbances near his mother's room. And he'll send a message to him quietly. You keep it down, Bean. Just answer me in a whisper. Follow me, and he'll gesture towards the study on the second floor.
Right, you are. Matilda, are you here as well?
Yes.
Okay. And then Bean kind of makes his way, traveling with you to Lavos' study. Lavos is not in there currently. And as you enter in, you find yourself within the study.
Here, and he'll take out the list he made before. These are information. You bring out back anything for each tidbit of information, depending on how useful it is. He'll range between a silver up to a gold each.
All right. What do you have written down?
Any information people have on the family, any of the family members specifically, so like Jojo, Matilda, Vincent. If there's like rumors and stuff about them that we haven't heard about. Things to do with the Goldwaters, just to keep an eye on his grandfather. Would you guys have wanted anything specifically? If there's any more people going missing in the city recently, like new ones from today onwards.
I want to know where people report missing people, because this is like seems really weird that a bunch of people from all these families are going missing and no one is reporting anything.
It would be most likely. Is the information gathering starting now? I do have a little bit of information on this one. It's somewhat common, so I'll mark it on the low side. 2 silver pieces.
I come up with the prices, dear.
Okay, we can also do a bulk deal. I'm just putting that out on the table. For the most part, people would report anybody missing to the guilds. So if anyone in particular feels like they're in danger or missing, usually it takes a little bit of time, and then beyond that, you would report them. I would personally go to the order of 10. They have the most jurisdiction across the entire city. Now, you could also go to other guilds, such as Saloon's Guild, which I don't. It's something to do with the moon. I know that. Well, that's easy. You shouldn't have to pay for that one. Saloon is all about the moon. If you want it actually done quickly, though, you could go to Shah's district because they're a little bit less strict on rules when finding information.
Vincent will give him 3 silver.
Oh, thank you, sir. So that's basically what I would do, at least. Order of 10 is a good one. They know a lot of things.
Well, also keep in mind out for any talks of cults within the city. Would be useful.
Cults as well. All right, I can do that.
And the last bit is just, you seem smart, B. If you pick up with anything you think I might like, deliver it, even if it's not on this list. I might pay for it.
I might have to talk with my friends too to see whether or not payment after purchasing the information is. You know what? I trust you. I think this has been very lucrative so far, and we can work very well together. Let's be friends.
Of course, Bean. Vincent will reach out his hand for a handshake.
He immediately grasps with both hands and is like, "This is fantastic. Honestly, I'm so happy. If you need anything at all, Bean's your. I'm working on it. I don't have a saying yet. Bean's your guy. I'm working on it."
Beans, one extra thing. Very persuasive, aside from maybe magical persuasive. But don't tell anyone else this information, even if they pay you, any form of gold. Or torture, or anything like that.
I tell you what. Oh, torture? That's always a possibility, I suppose. I tell you what, if someone offers me more gold, I'll come back to you and let you know.
Yes, you do.
Okay. I think that works. And then you pay me to not tell them. And then I tell you who told me.
We'll discuss the payments or the forms of what will happen at the time, dear.
Okay. I think that makes sense to me.
But one thing I can assure you is if you're loyal, regardless of money in the long term, this investment would be very much in your favor long term. I take care of those who wish to take care of me and my family.
Beans, your best boy. I worked on it. I think that's it. I have a winner. He continues shaking your hand until eventually he lets go and looks towards Matilda. He's like, is there anything you want me to ask? And on top of missing people?
I think when you get back, we're going to teach you how to use something sharp. Because you're small, like me, the best place you can go for is their knees. You can cut some things, and then they won't be able to run after you. So we'll show you how to do that.
He just writes, go for knees, cut things,
Yes.
run
Yes.
away. It's like, do I run away before or after I...
It depends on the scenario. If you feel like you can run, you run. But if they corner you, you do anything that you can to get away or to make it so that they let go of you so you can run away.
Okay, so if I run first, then do I
You should-
throw the sharp thing?
No, we'll teach you.
Okay. And he just begins like writing order
Yeah, run.
ABC.
Run first.
Okay. You see, he's just like running through this in his head. He's like, you guys are the experts. But as Bean gets set on his way with this small list, he takes his leave of the manor and makes his way to the old town proper, where he begins to head back out into the city and speak with his information network. Anything else anyone wants to do for the evening / the next day as we move towards the infiltration of this manor?
Me. Matilda's going to write a letter, a small letter, and on top of it, because she's going to fold it in half, it says to Vincent's mom on the top of it, and on the inside, and then on the inside, Matilda's going to have, because she always keeps herbs in her bag, she has 10 mint leaves that she closes into the letter and like slides it underneath his mom's door. And I don't care if reading out the letter doesn't bother me. There's nothing on there that's like secret, so I'll read out the letter. So the letter reads to Vincent's mom on the top, and you open it and there's a bunch of leaves in it. It says, you seem nervous a lot. I've enclosed 10 mint leaves. Crush it in your hands. Cup your hands with the crushed leaf over your nose. Breathe it in. Do this when you are feeling particularly anxious. I see you have burns, ? Do they hurt? Describe your pain. I may be able to make a salve to make your scars less stiff or tight. And love, Matilda. And then that's it. And she just slided that under her door. I can't make essential oils, but I can make it so that she can have the similar thing that I have.
You prepare this. You slide it under the door. In the early night, as you kind of prepare yourself, the next day you assume that she finds this letter kind of prepared for her. And as you make your way through the home, Jojo, was there anything you wanted to do this evening as well?
I assume Jaeger still shows up because I didn't send him a letter to not do that.
Basically, that'd probably be the next day. Did you want to jump ahead to the next day?
Oh, I thought we were the morning of. Okay, never mind.
I did keep Lavos up a little bit because I took him up to the room upstairs that I want, and I was telling him the stuff that I wanted done in it. Like, this is what I want done, and this is what I want you to do, and can you do this? La 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 la.
For the house?
That's what. Yes.
Gotcha. I'm taking note. And
I will send you some stuff.
Excellent. I will not take note. As we cycle through, let's just roll a spotlight, and then we'll go from there. Vincent and Matilda, who has the dex?
Vincent, probably.
Yeah, +2.
Yeah, no, I have +0. Haha.
Alrighty, Vincent 17.1. And Jojo 11. Vincent, what do you do this early morning?
Just making sure his mother's all comfortable. He'll just have a quick conversation with her. Mother dear, do you think you would agree to stay? I'd really appreciate it if you did. I can arrange to have all your stuff moved out. You don't need to lift a finger.
I do have some friends who've been saying I need a bit of a change recently. Some of the other girls at the market. Maybe this would do me good.
Mabos can give you things to do around. I know he has ideas to set up a garden. I know you've always wanted those. You just never had the room.
So spoiled as a child, I never got to do anything of the like, but I hope I can be of help. Yes, I will, Vincent.
He'll go in and give her a hug and kiss her on the cheek. Thank you.
So excited I get to see you more.
That is the benefit. And let me know if you ever need anything, like always. And keep safe, okay?
Of course. She placed her hand on your cheek and she says, "And you be safe."
I always am, dear. Nothing can touch this, and Vincent will just put his arms out in, like, a showman way.
See, she almost says something, but then kind of holds back, but her face just beaming in pride and smiling. A faint laugh hits her cheek and she says, "Well, I would like to make breakfast this morning, so lead away."
He'll show her to the kitchen, I guess.
And as the scene changes and the camera pulls back, Matilda, you are up.
Okie dokie. Well, I wake up in the manor because I did sleep there last night. And she wakes up. And she immediately starts taking stuff out to do some more research. And she's like, let's make sense of what's been going on. And she tries to make any connections. She just kind of spends the morning just poring over her notes. That's what she does.
Okay. Yeah, a very early morning, and Alora kind of brings you some breakfast. And she's like, "Thank you very much for the lovely letter. I just crushed the leaves then, and..."
Yeah, you just take it and you kind of crush it, and then you put it in and you go like this and you breathe it in, and it should help if you're feeling particularly anxious.
Holds them in her hand. She's like, "That sounds fun.
It smells really nice too."
I'm going to use a mortar and pestle in the kitchen. I'll be right back."
Oh.
Then she heads out, and camera pulls away again. Jojo, early morning, you find yourself.
Yeah. I imagine Jaeger still shows up, even though the mask is not on me anymore.
I think he shows up in the early morning. Do you get there kind of early? You intercept him likely, as he's like, "Oh.
Hey,
cool. Wait, did you... What's,
Yeah. I was told there was I have the sword that apparently breaks the curse, and I don't know if you heard that loud noise last night all the way in Eldeth's.
Yeah, it roused a lot of people, actually.
That was a lot louder than I meant it to be.
Yeah, there's, I imagine you could have probably heard that halfway into the city.
Yeah. No. Oops. Oh, well. It's fine, right? That's subtle.
Probably. Not, though.
No.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe might be a little odd. At this point, on the outskirts, you see there's a small group of people who are making passage, just walking through the forest of Old Town. Kind of wearing this just pale green with a blue sash, both of which wearing this kind of same garb. One male dwarf and one male halfling who are just walking through, kind of looking around the area.
Do I know what that garb is supposed to be like?
Roll history.
20.
Eh.
Natty 20 history? Beautiful. Actually, you alongside Jaeger would both probably recognize this. Let me go ahead and pop it open. You are looking at members of the Grasslanders, which is Shantia's personal family guard. Now, with your history, you do know that Shantia's family is kind of the ruling body of the Grasslanders. It is her personal army, but this particular sect wearing these kind of green pieces of like long robes and the blue sash specifically marks them as members of Melora's extended Grasslanders kind of troop, like a branch of a single family group. And as they are walking down the pathway towards Old Town, they kind of spot you guys and just take note of the fact that you're there as they begin to move in towards you. Like, I can have a word with you.
Yep. Hi, can we help you with
Hello.
something?
Yes, there was quite a ruckus coming from here. I'm surprised to find other folk here. Who are you exactly?
I'm Jojen Manx. Nice to meet you. Yep, this is Jaeger.
Hello. You're members of the Grasslanders army, yes? They're like, Jaeger. Hello. It's nice to see you. Yeah, I'm afraid I'm not acquainted. But you should probably head out pretty quick, I think. I'm afraid we do have something to look into, so I don't think we can do that right away.
The noise, because that's won't be happening again. Don't worry about it.
Well, you see, the noise is very particular and seems to share quite a bit of an interest. Now, that's not exactly something you hear every day, so it was imperative that we investigate. If Jaeger can speak to this, that's fine. However, what are you doing here?
In these woods,
Aye.
I was here to meet up with Jaeger.
Roll deception. Though not lying, you are absolutely obscuring all
Does she have
information.
advantage then?
Because of Jaeger?
No, because she's not technically
Or-
lying.
I mean, it's still just the nature of obscuring information.
Right, and?
And I was meeting him so that I could inform him that I didn't need his help removing the Mask of Mirrors anymore.
You see they kind of like, for a moment, some of them begin to clue in. The halfling just kind of looks towards you and begins to scribble some notes. He says,
I think this is worth... I think this is worth further investigation. You have... Explain to me exactly what happened.
and just for brevity, do you explain to this person or do you conceal information?
I like sort of look at Jaeger. I was like thinking how much I mean, Shantia's family is huge and her army is giant, right?
The Grasslanders is, not insignificant.
So being on their bad side isn't good. And I don't know if this information, it's sort of family information.
Can we see you out of the windows of the manor with
I think I probably
They're in the forest. This is
intercepted.
Not near the house.
I know that Jaeger jumps the river and comes around Old Town this way. Man, green is not a very helpful color, so I probably intercepted him along that route.
Okay.
So you keep the information?
Jojo doesn't lie. I think she tries to maybe not share too much about like she definitely doesn't want to be like, yeah, my family home's back there. But
Gotcha.
she was like, she's basically like, I knew this was gonna be loud, so I went out to the woods to try and be quiet, and it was a lot fucking louder than I thought it was gonna be.
He
Banging these swords against each other, and she like brings out both of the swords.
Okay. In your in this description, I will need one more deception check just to attempt to obscure the information. Because you are telling them a lot of information, but they do seem curious about what you were doing in the forest in the first place. Saying that you were in the forest specifically to try and obscure the sound and just unaware of what was going on. I'm going to roll an insight check for them. Right, whatever it is you're not telling us, I want to let you know we're going to get to the bottom of this.
Okay.
We'll continue our investigation into the forest. Please do not attempt to obscure it in any way. If you have any problems with this, my name is Danos. I will copy that into chat as well. I will be undertaking this investigation. Now,
What exactly are you investigating?
I am not at liberty to say. Now, the
Okay,
exit
well,
to the forest is that way.
You know what? Fuck, maybe it's time we met our neighbors. You're, maybe we can set up a meeting with Melora. I don't know.
Jaeger's like, I would like to set up a meeting with Melora.
Yeah, what he said.
Right. I suppose that can be arranged. Excellent. So, you continue your investigation. For now. I just hope my mom doesn't have anything to say about that. I suppose it's getting late into the day, isn't it? Then they kind of look up into the early morning. They're like, aye, it is getting a bit late, isn't it? He was like, yes, so maybe tomorrow would be better.
Is his mom at Eldeth?
No, his mom is in Shantia's family.
Oh,
I suppose you're right, young Jaeger. Right, so see you tomorrow. I'll be here. Just smiles and they're like, aye. The two turn and begin to make their way away. They turn back and take one last look, and you can see the halfling just scribbling aggressively away notes of the areas they begin to examine before eventually leaving, and they're like, yeah, I don't know what you guys have planned or anything, or this whole secretive thing, but the timeline should probably be moved up. I don't know.
Yeah. Fuck. Thanks for that.
Yeah, I could pull a little bit of sway. They won't be back though. As soon as they're not intimidated by that anymore.
I gotta let Lavos know that I fucked up.
Hey, this happens. I fucked up so many times. So many times. But you got a family behind you and friends at your side, you know?
You hungry? Want some breakfast?
Famished.
Yeah, let's go.
As everyone gathers back together in the family home, Jaeger appears. And you all sit down at the breakfast table. Elora kind of just has a small bag of mint. She's just like, it's very strong.
Is it working? Is it helping?
I'm very calm now.
Do I believe her?
Roll insight.
Yeah, it's really overpowering everything else I'm eating.
I might have used too much.
I didn't say eat it, I said breathe it.
I was smelling it.
You know, a lot of taste is smell.
But not all smells are tastes. She smiles.
She's very relaxed.
As long as you don't put it in your mouth, I guess not.
As you guys spend the early morning, is there anything you wished to do this day before moving ahead to the evening? with your mission with Amir.
Vincent just needed to do one thing. Doesn't need to be role play necessarily, but he's going to leave Old Town and take a cart all the way to the Valentine's estate to pick up his item. Not the one that they're going to custom make for him, but the stand-in.
Okay. Is everybody have a thing, or are we cool with doing a caveat and then jumping through?
While Jaeger is there, Jojo isn't sure if the curse is actually lifted on the mask or not, or if it's just like, if it just got like taken off of her face. So she's like, do you think I could like put this back on to like test if it's still cursed, and then you could take it off possibly?
You can most certainly try. That's a second scene that we can potentially jump into. And Matilda, was there anything you wanted to do in the day as well?
I sent a letter to my parents to see if they would like to arrange to come over for dinner.
Okay, that one we can just say is thrown through. So in this instance, we will cycle through. Jojo, if you want to attempt that.
Like, how confident are you, though, that you'd be able to get it off?
Wouldn't be an RP scene.
Oh, okay.
Or we can, but it'll be after Vincent. So if we want to RP that.
How confident is he that he'd be able to take it off?
He seems pretty confident. But I'm leaving you in a cliffhanger there. Vincent, you find your way across the city to the Valentine's estate. Attached to the Windwalkers Company and adjacent to the Shining Star Cartography Guild. You enter in and you see once again the butler, who's just like, ah yes, you've returned.
He'll just do a little bow thing as like a hello. I'm not sure if Carmina is expecting me, but I'm here to pick up an item.
Certainly. And he begins to move away, bringing you to the sitting room as he goes upstairs and returns briefly. You see Carmina, who's wearing kind of just this work gear, like a black long skirt that comes down just above her ankles, and she's got like this fine-looking blazer jacket. She's like, I did not expect you, but I am glad that you're here. I like a man who can surprise me. I hear you are here for an item. I can take you to our vault.
Thank you, dear.
We have begun work on your particular item. It has strong guidelines from things that already exist, things that we have in our disposal, so it actually should not take very long to complete your custom piece. I would like very much in the future to hear your advancement towards the mission itself, but for now, let's return. She brings you downstairs, takes a small key out of her pocket, pops it open into a doorway that opens out into a long hallway that has glass kind of walls inlaid into various different wooden alcoves and individual plinths that are set up with items on them. And she says, some of the items that we would be willing to part with in order to offer you a temporary solution until your personal item is finished. Consider them to be a loaner. But if you perform to the utmost degree, we might consider a bonus. So, some of the items we can offer you are a cloak of protection, a pearl of power, a dust of disappearance, amulet of proof against detection, very valuable one. A headband of intellect brings you up to a very high intelligence. A helm of comprehend languages. This is mithril. She pulls up a small piece of chain armor and she says, a merger of elven and dwarvish smithing techniques that has been all but lost since they split between the two cultures. A ring of mind shielding or a ring of shared suffering. We have various different items, or if you have something else in mind, we could potentially see if we have it down here.
Some of these pique my interest, dear. Let me have a look over them. I'll get back to you.
Absolutely.
Out of character, I need to look up some of these items.
For sure. There's quite a bit there. But narratively, we can be like, and Vincent grabs one. She also takes a small ruby gemstone and hands it to you. And she says, and this is very particular. This, we just finished it last night. It is a enslavement gem, or a gem of entrapping. If you place this upon the body of this Schleder Krom and keep it there for 1 minute, he'll be trapped within the gem for 5 days.
Thank you, dear. This will definitely come in handy.
Most certainly. He seems
Like,
a
we
kind
could have
of...
brought him in pieces, but you preferred him alive, so...
It is more information.
Of course. He'll take the ruby and put it in his shirt. Like, lapel.
And perhaps once this is all over, maybe a dinner.
Since just like kind of in business mode, and then she says that, and he kind of looks up and then looks at her, and he's just like, "Of course, I would love to spend an evening in your company."
I look forward to it.
And he'll give her one of his charming smiles.
Not the default ones. But as you pine over the items that are presented before you, this just large open room of various different key pieces within the Valentine family enchanter, the camera pulls away and focuses in on Jojo, who's looking at Jaeger, who's like pretty confident. I prepared a couple spells that might be able to help with this last night. No biggie.
Okay. If you say so. And she'll put the mask back on and try and turn into Ron.
You become an old man, unfortunately.
Oh no! Block. He like kicks the ground.
I mean, this look isn't that bad though. You're just like an old guy.
You're still JoJo.
I just wanted to use the mask though. She tries to take it off again.
It does not come off.
Fuck. I mean, it'd be fine if I could take it off.
My time to shine. He moves forward, and as he places his hand on you, this very faint light kind of begins to outline underneath your face and just draws a small passage as the face turns to a solid stone and then switches over to that glass and then falls off. The rest of your body just kind of lifts away, and eventually you find yourself once again.
Thanks.
That was pretty cool.
I got you. It's like, you can see he's desperately trying not to smile. It's like, no problem.
It's fine, man.
Yeah, smile.
Right.
It's okay.
All right, okay, I shall do that soon. I'll accompany it with an uncomfortable word, maybe. Tangerine. Then he gives a smile. Roll a wisdom saving throw.
Yes!
Oh,
We don't
no.
want
The
to
roses
be...
return. Yeah. And he just kind of begins to sparkle. But the worst part about it is, now that he's here, it's all but endless. As he stands there, he turns around and you just have shoujo manga eyes for like the next
It's
however
just
long.
Uran host club up in this bitch, and I love it.
That's absolutely what he is.
Tamaki.
Vincent
Well,
returns probably only like 2 hours later or so.
I did want to say, when I sent the letter, it wasn't dinner tonight. It was dinner like on a day that works good for them. So it's not like they're not gonna show up this evening. Matilda's like, I'm busy tonight. You can't come tonight. Come another night.
Come another night.
But
We should
come
have
for
dinner, but not tonight. Another night. I like that. I think Cisco appears, or actually a letter appears at the black sheep for Jojo. That just says, what? As you all prepare for the mission going down this night, awaiting a mirror to come with as much expertise, information, and a small arsenal as you can hope, you find a somewhat restless day in front of you. The mission, not something that all of you are exactly experienced with. Infiltration, kidnapping, and especially dealing with someone who seems to have that as their main forte, is very different to you all. And as you prepare for this, and the day moves to afternoon, moves to evening, and into the early night, you hear a rap on the door. As Amir looks onwards towards you and says, Go time.
Terrible catchphrase.
It's not a
could
catchphrase.
be-
I'm just fucking speaking. Are you gonna get out of my ass at some point?
I didn't know I was in it in the first place. I don't really want to be there.
Are you metaphorically gonna get out of my ass at some point?
You guys
This is
sure you
why I
don't get
like
along?
Yeah, I'm 100% sure.
Vincent's gonna come up behind her and kind of put his arm around her shoulder. Shall we go?
Roll a. Are
To
you
a mirror?
attempting? If you're attempting to do that, you would have to do it without her noticing, because as soon as you get close, she would just shuffle, and stare at you. Do you
Sure.
attempt to do it stealthily?
Sure.
Alrighty, go ahead and roll stealth.
What?
There's 2 numbers on the dice that mean a good thing or a bad thing. And as you roll the 14, Amir's looking at you and kind of just fumbling aggressively with you, Matilda. And he's like, "You gonna get out of my ass?" And then you place your hand over her shoulder, and she just kind of looks over towards your hand for a moment, raises an eyebrow and looks back towards you, and then just kind of raises your hand off her shoulder, but you can tell is surprised that it ended up there in the first place.
Well, not everyone likes it. It's fine, dear.
During the distraction, can Matilda put her finger, like poke her finger in her chest?
Roll stealth.
Okay, I'm just gonna see. I'm probably not gonna be able to, but I just want to see. Hold on. And I ninja, right? Ninja roll?
Yes,
Oh, hold on.
Oh, I didn't ninja roll mine, but it was kind of, it happened in the moment. So
that's okay.
Stealth. Normal.
You reach forward as she's looking at Vincent, being like, "How the hell did you get past me?" And then as you go to poke her in the chest, she just grabs your finger and pushes your hand back without looking, still just looking at Vincent, being like, "All right, let's get moving." And you, points towards Matilda, "You gotta work on that." She walks past you and begins to make her way down the main thoroughfare of Old Town. And that is where we will end today's session.
Woo!
Thank you all for coming. And as we look onwards towards this infiltration of a mansion and a kidnapping / murder / maybe just a whole bunch of crazy fucking shit
Yee!
happening. Yeah. We will see you next time. Thank you so much for dropping by the Dragon Leaf. And until the next cup. Bye, everybody.
Bye!
No,
Yeah.
that was
bye.